Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Today we will be diving into Recoup's onboarding flow to take our social profile verification to the next level. I'll be live coding features like a clickable artist ID to copy, dynamic removal of unused social platforms, auto deletion of empty social links, and a slick profile picture preview for account matching. Get ready for raw hands-on session where we solve real challenges on the fly. Let's go build something together. I'll get started by sharing my screen and we will find the first ticket that I'm going to be building today. All of our tickets are managed on Linear, so I'll open up Linear. And from here, let's go to the first ticket that I want to implement today. It's going to be this account ID. Right now, it's hard for me to be able to find, I'm not even going to explain it, I'm just going to go right into coding. Copy my branch name, and now I'm going to open up my code base. Let's close everything else, and we'll check out to my branch name. Create the new branch. Don't know why we're getting that error. I'm going to try publishing the branch. Hopefully we don't get any errors. Looks like we're getting some errors today. So I'm going to get status, git push origin, my branch name. I might need to do all my git commands in my terminal today if we're getting issues up here. So let's give it our first task. I'm just going to copy this. I'll open up a new composer. Please update your scratch pad for the new task. Paste the title of the task. Paste the required and actual of the task. I'm also going to copy the image and paste the image. Maybe. Copy the image to the clipboard, paste the image in here, there we go. A little bit of formatting on the text. All right, let's submit it. So I've updated my cursor rules to now give my AI agent a scratch pad. So the first thing that the AI always does is it updates its scratch pad, so that way I can take a peek into how it's thinking and what its implementation path is to better verify what the AI is doing. My goal is to just focus on task definition and task verification. I want to do as minimal coding as possible. I would rather have the AI implement the code because it does it better than I do. But what I do better is my imagination, my creativity, and my ability to understand where I want to go and to be able to express that clearly. Account ID display. This looks good. Add a visible and interactive account ID on the artist pop-up top bar. Artist pop-up does not show our account ID. No way to easily reference. Missing visual indication. Display a truncated version, show the label, include a copy icon, maintain and clear and consistent UI. Now it's built out its own action plan, review the current code, design the display component, implement the clipboard functionality, add visual feedback, test implementation. Next step, it's going to review the current artist pop-up to find the best placement. It'll then create a reusable copy component if it doesn't already exist, implement the feature, test across different IDs. Let's see where it's at. Let's start. It started analyzing. It's checked out the settings since that's where we'll need to implement it. We need to add the account ID to the top bar of the artist settings. Let's check if we have a copy to clipboard. We do have a code block component that implements a copy to clipboard. I'll create a new reusable component. Excellent. Let me first check the artist record to ensure that we have access to the ID. We can see from the artist record that we do already have the account ID. It's going to start implementing the changes. Why haven't you updated your scratch pad? Oh, well, part of me wants to correct it and be like, update your scratch pad. But to be honest, we just need code to get shipped. So let's see what the changes are. Account ID display passes in an account ID. We handle copy. We truncate if it's too long. We show the label. We show either a check or a copy button. And we show a truncated version of what we're going to copy. That looks perfect. Let's check out the settings. Settings, we are now importing that new component. It's showing that it's changing stuff here, but I think it's just adding the flex column. And then we're putting this right underneath the artist settings that I labeled in the screenshot. We need setting mode to be update and editable artist, and then we show that. Not familiar with all that, but the code changes look minimal. I'm glad that we created a new component. Made the following changes. Now it's updating its rules with the status. Visual requirements display. It's adding all of its checkboxes. More checks. Completed all the steps in one pass. Looks like it has finished its implementation. Let's see if it did it right with tnpm dev. We're 5 minutes in. We've already picked our first card. We've given that card to the AI, and the AI has already implemented the changes. It took us less than 5 minutes to do an entire ticket. I've hired some devs that would have taken hours, multiple hours, like 2+ hours to do this single ticket. This is the position that we're at now. I could hire a human dev. I have to onboard them. I have to educate them. I have to train them. And then they're going to underperform and they're not going to care like I care about the product. Alternatively, I can empower myself. I just need to carve out the time to be able to copy and paste it. I define the ticket clearly. I give the ticket to AI. The AI already knows all the ins and outs of my code base. If it doesn't, it has a scratch pad where it can think about it. And then it implements the code base that it would have taken me longer than the AI took. It did it in 5 minutes, and it's given me time just to yap and think. So instead of yapping, let's go over to just the main page and see if I can see those artist IDs now. The main reason I need these artist IDs is so that I can verify the next things that I'm going to be building and verify that the backend database is actually operating as I expect it to. Right now, I've been making some changes, and I don't know how to verify this artist. Like, I don't know where the ID is for me to be able to look inside of my database to dig deeper to see if the changes I'm making are working. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to add that ID so that it's easier for me to look up the artist and verify that everything that I'm seeing in the front end human interface is an actual reflection of the backend database. While we're waiting for that compilation, I will commit the changes. I'll go to the cursor rules, and we should see, I'm going to copy all that, put it all. I'm not going to add the cursor rules because I want an empty clipboard kind of always, but I will commit, and let's see what happens if we try to push. We've been seeing an error. That error is still existing, so I'm going to have to manually push. I'll open up a new tab to do that with, yeah. Hit status so that I can get my branch name. We have an updated cursor rules. I'm going to ignore that and just get push origin, paste my branch name. And we should now push all of our changes up to GitHub. All right, we've pushed our changes. Let's go back to our original terminal. Still compiling, so a slow compile today. While I'm waiting, let me try verifying the order of tasks I've got, see if I agree. The X is 90% done, so I'll keep that there. The artist pop-up, removing one kind of makes sense, but I think the bigger impact is actually going to be adding an artist preview. And a Spotify dropdown actually seems like the correct step because Spotify has been where most people have had the issue. The X is going to allow us to remove Spotify if an artist is using this, but they're not a musician with a Spotify. The alternative is if someone is trying to connect their Spotify, we're using the Spotify API. There's a search endpoint that allows us to take whatever input username that is given and search that, and then we're given an array of responses back. And right now we're just picking the first one and assuming that's right. What we can do here is give people a drop down of what do we get in that search response, allow people to pick which option is correct. So Spotify drop down first, then verify the PFP. Then afterwards, if people want to delete an account after, we give them the option. And then we've got new Figma designs that we'll implement eventually. This should be in progress, but I think I might have checked out an incorrect branch name. Let me verify what branch I'm on over here. Looks like we are now finished loading. Git status, git checkout -b. Whoops. Command B, B, Command B. Whoops. B, Command V. I'm already on this branch. I pushed, but I don't see this changing into in review. That's fine. Not the top priority right now. Let's go back to the landing page. Took us 5 minutes to load that more or less. I should now be able to see an artist ID. I see an artist ID right here. I have the ability to copy it. It's also saving. I don't understand why it's saving. So we'll see if that's a correct note. And I want this text to be smaller, I think. Yeah, on copy is saving, which we don't want. It seems the copy button is triggering the save button. Actual on copy click triggers save button. Required save button is not triggered on copy, not copy, copy click. Okay, so it did give us the feature. Are these IDs different? I see an ID that starts with 8B48 for Elon Musk, and for city limits, I see 648D. So it seems like each musician in my account, the park has 4A26. So it seems like they're all unique. The text is again a little bit too blaring in my face. I would like it to be smaller across the board. It looks like all that it needed to do was add a type. That looks good. The copy button, this explicitly tells the browser that this should not submit the form. Now clicking the copy button will only trigger the copy functionality. That sounds perfect. Let's see if that's already the case. I might need to refresh the page. Okay, let's try refreshing the page. Looks like we're loading now. The first compilation was a little slow, but preceding compilations are typically faster. I'm also going to open up the database to verify that the account ID is what I'm expecting. $12. So even though it implemented the initial feature in 5 minutes, we have almost tripled the time verifying the feature is correct. We've got page load waiting for my artist to load on the right. Go into our database, go to the table editor. I'm going to go into the account socials table. And now I can take that artist ID if the table opens. Here's all my artists. Let's open up TK and see what profiles are attached to TK right now. Click the 3 dots. Copy. No longer clicks the save button, so that's already fixed our first bug. Now we're going to filter here by account ID equals account ID. And I can see we have 0 profiles associated with TK, which matches what I see here of 0 profiles. Let's check. I've been playing around with T-Grizzly. I gave it a different profile of a different PFP of Claire from our meeting the other day. This one has 3 profiles attached. Let's go into Supabase. Let's filter on this account ID for T-Grizzly. And if we filter on T-Grizzly, we should see 3. We see 3 social IDs. So we're now verifying that the front-end human interface matches our back-end database. The only other thing I would like to do here is clean up the styling a little bit. I want to make all of the text the same gray as the label and a smaller font size. Perfect. Only other feedback is the text is too prominent. Actual some text black and large. Required all text gray and smaller font. Let's see what it does with that feedback. I'll add this initial change while it's implementing the change. Git status. It looks like it's going to keep modifying, so I'll wrap both of these together. Okay, we have changed the padding Y a little bit less. Change the font from small to extra small on everything. So it looks like everything's just been made a little bit smaller, and we're now keeping our colors gray. Now we've got smaller. This is way more hidden. I love this. We're copying. This looks perfect to me. I'm happy. Git status, git add components, git commit -m, I clean up styling, and on click side effects. We're now ready to push this and open up our first pull request of the day at 16 minutes in. Git push origin, copy my branch name wherever that's at. And now we're going to head over to GitHub to do that pull request. Let's go to github.com/recoupable to get us to the account where the changes are going to be. From here, I go to the repositories tab and I find the repository where I just made the change. In this case, it's Recoupable Chat, a public template that anybody can fork and use to build their own AI agent front end. Here it should automatically prompt me to open up a pull request from the branch that I've been pushing to. See that we've got 2 because I stashed some changes from that. That'll be the next pull request that we work on. Let's compare this. Create the pull request. Now I'm going to share this with my team. I believe I've closed Slack, so I'll open it up again. Okay, Slack is now opening. While it's opening, I'm going to review the files that I've changed. We've got this new account ID display, which is inside of artist settings. I don't like that we have dev logging in here, but it's a small issue and I'd rather keep moving forward. Settings tab. The code is expanding a bit. Are we over 100 lines in here? I think we're over 100 lines now. Yeah, we're over 100 lines. So I think I want it to create a new component for the artist settings header. But again, I want to keep my changes small so that we can build momentum. Our goal is to focus on momentum right now, and creating a new component, while it does make the code a little bit cleaner, I'm not sure it's going to drastically improve our momentum right now. I'm happy with these code changes overall. So I'm going to, let's share this inside of Slack. So I go into the code review channel of my Slack, copy the pull request URL, paste it, say what project it's for. In this case, it's Recoup. I say what ticket I'm working on. So I go to linear, should already be marked as in review. It is, did that automatically because I've linked the pull request to the linear ticket. Paste the name, write out the word ticket, and then I give a link to the ticket so that if someone's reviewing and they want to check the ticket that I'm building this work for, they can. Now let's try to give some examples of what it is we're testing. We're failing on the evals, but we already knew evals were failing. Evals are failing. Let's see if first cell has succeeded. I'm going to need to log into my account, so I'll get mail opened up and prepared for whenever it's ready. We should be able to jump over to the updates tab. Let's go here. Build has just finished. We can now test our changes. I can get rid of chat because we've already started and my next meeting isn't for a while, so I can close my calendar. Now we need to log in, enter in my username, send it. We should get here's our login code. Copy our login code, go back to Recoup. I'll close this tab. We can see all my artists. Let's check out Alejo. We can see his artist ID. Let's copy it. He should have 3 different socials in Supabase. Let's search for Alejo's account. We see 3 socials. Let's check one more artist. We'll check out Duodo. I only have X and Instagram, so for Duodo, if we search them, we should only get 2 socials associated with this artist. So I'll filter them. Let's apply. I only see 2 socials. I'm going to mark this as complete. Let's add in a screenshot so that Jad or whoever wants to test understands how to test this. I take a little arrow. We put the end of the arrow on the thing that's changed, put the start at a place that makes it aesthetically appealing. Click done, copy the URL that I'm testing at, and now I go back to Slack. I tell test here so that you've already got the link if you want to test. Collapse this preview because it just takes up space that we don't, it's distracting. Go to desktop, find the file that I just marked up. Artist ID is included in artist pop-up, check mark. Just make it very transparent what it is we updated. And I think we're good to ship. I've tested it, I've reviewed the code, I'm happy with the changes overall. We squash and merge, and we have just shipped our first pull request of the day. We are 22 minutes in, and we have shipped our first pull request. Let's see how long it takes us to ship the next one. Put a screenshot of the ship, put a little shipping emoji, and then also at the top of the thread, I will also put a ship so that everybody knows this has been shipped. Ship it. Okay, we have shipped our first PR of the day. Now we go back to, I'm not even going to try using get up here anymore. Get status, get checkout main, get pull origin main. We now have the latest changes from main. Let's get our next ticket. Ticket is auto marked as done. Move on to ticket number 2. I've already got this branch, so I don't need to do -B. I'll just get checkout this branch that already exists. It doesn't like that my cursor rules have changed, so I'll get reset head hard. Now we'll do that same command again. We have checked out our new branch. I can pull the latest changes from main with get pull origin main. We now are on the branch that I had work in progress changes on. We've just added all of the changes, and now I'm going to push those changes so that it can start the build. Okay, now that we have done this, let's run our server locally, and let's see where we're at in the progress of this task. I think this task is already done. The only reason I have not shipped it is I needed to verify, and I was not able to verify up and until this point. So to verify now, we run pm dev. That will start our server. Cursor rules should be where I can check out the latest state of this task. We're removing social platform from wrapped report. We want to add the functionality to remove unwanted social platforms from the verification step. That all sounds right. It's saying, look, oh, whoops, I'm on the road. This is my terminal I'm using for Git. I have another terminal that I'm using to run. It's already running, so we should be good to go. Let's check out how localhost is doing. And we're going to try to scrape a new artist. If anyone's watching and you would like your profile to be analyzed, let me know. Otherwise, I have a meeting with Latasha later today, so I think I'm going to start analyzing Latasha's profile and see how it does. Check in with my bones as I'm sitting here. Bones of my finger make contact with the bones of my sitting bones. This is what's supporting all of my body and my upper half. Feel those bones of my sitting bone. Slowly start to feel where they make contact with the chair. Feel the pelvic bone in front that connects to those sitting bones that I was just touching behind. Feel the iliac crest. How are my sitting bones rotated in relation to my chair? Are they slouched back, or am I actually rotating them up to properly cup the upper half of my body? The pelvic bone is attached to the sitting bones, which is attached to the iliac crest. All of these are one single connected bone that house and hold the rest of the structure. The iliac crest meets the sacrum, which connects to your spine. So the positioning of my sitting bones leads into how connected I am with my spine. The spine connects to the cranium. Feel where the whole of the cranium connects to your spine. Coming back to the bones, the fundamentals makes it so that the muscular movements unfold naturally. Let's go ahead and run an agent for Elon Musk and see what happens here locally. Well, we're not going to do Elon Musk. I just said Latasha. So let's check out Latasha. What profiles does Latasha have connected? I see a TikTok, which actually looks inaccurate. It's got a double at. Let's check out what Latasha looks like in Supabase. I'll filter by this artist ID for Latasha. I see one social profile connected, and that social profile is at Call Me Latasha on TikTok. It looks like that URL is actually incorrect. I can see a double at there. Take me to this record. Let's not worry about going to the record. Okay, so we've got Latasha set up. Let's go into the wrapped. What I'm focused on right now is making onboarding a new artist as seamless and simple as possible. We can see TikTok is not properly pulling in the existing profiles we have attached. I want to update that eventually. Let me go ahead and make that ticket so that we keep the backlog filled in. Let's make a new ticket, P0, verify step missing existing social profiles. Actual verify step is always searching for new handles and ignores existing handles I've already linked. Required, if I have already linked a social profile in the artist socials table, show those values here instead of using Tably API to search for the social handle. What I like to do now is I find that AI writes tickets better than I do, so I will open up chat. So I'm allowing myself to break off right here. I was focused on a task. I found a bug. Sometimes I ignore the bug, but right now, again, my goal is to make the onboarding process for new artists as seamless as possible. So I want to document any of these bugs so that we can always have a clear view on all of the changes we want to make. That way, when we prioritize the backlog, I have a total encompassing view of all the tasks to be able to manipulate properly. So I paste in the title, and then I paste in the description, and then it's going to rewrite my actual and required for me. And now I'll copy this new actual and required, put it into my ticket. I'm going to add a screenshot. I'm just going to put this screenshot straight in without marking it up for now. It is a P0. I think it's a P0. Someone else might call it a P1. Okay, we've defined the bug. Let's go back to the bug that we're working on. Call me Latasha. I'm going to remove, which one should I remove? I'm going to remove Spotify for now. I know Latasha has a Spotify, but my goal is to check that these X's work. These X's are the feature that I'm adding in right now, the ability to, if you're trying to onboard a new artist and that artist does not have a Twitter or one of the social platforms, we give you an X here so that we're not accidentally associating incorrect artists. Let's continue. And then I'm going to watch this agent run to make sure that after this, we have 3 social profiles attached to Latasha instead of 4. Before this pull request in production, regardless of how many I actually want to link, it's always going to come back to 4 social profiles being linked. I'm trying to click continue, but I'm not seeing it update. What's going on? Why aren't we moving forward? Are you still doing stuff? Okay, there we go. So it's showing 3. It always shows 3. There's another bug where we're not showing Spotify here. Let me see if we're already showing the linked accounts or not. I'm seeing 3 accounts linked: TikTok, Instagram, and X. Let me check inside of Supabase if that's the same. It's already refreshing. I see 4 linked in here now, which I'm not happy about. I see Call Me Latasha on Instagram. I see Call Me Latasha on TikTok. I see Call Me Latasha on TikTok again. That should not be allowed. And I see Call Me Latasha on X. Why do we have 2 social profiles with the same profile URL? That should not be allowed. This is exactly why I wanted to put the artist ID on, so that I can dig deeper into bugs like this. Let's open up the table, this record. Let's filter on this profile ID, copy cell contents, filter by profile URL, paste the profile URL. They are different. They're slightly different. The original has 2 ats, and the new one only has 1 at. And so actually, they are both unique. One of them is incorrect. There's the double at. I'm going to delete this record, and this is going to be a different unrelated bug. So let's delete this row for now. It should hopefully unlink it in the other table. We come back over here, and we now only see 3 records linked to Latasha. We see X. I think I just opened up the same one. Yeah, X, Instagram, and TikTok. We can see we're using Arweave now for permanent data storage of those images when possible for Instagram and TikTok. And I think for Twitter, we're just using the image from Twitter. Yeah, we're using the PBS Twitter image link, so we don't need to duplicate that storage on the permaweb for now. I think this task is working. We can see that the wrapped report completed. I'm going to mark this as complete. Let's see if there's any changes that we need to push. Let's go over to my Git tab in the terminal, Git status. I've already pushed everything, so there's no changes here. I can just go straight into the pull request step. We'll come back over here. Let's go back to the main page. Hopefully we're auto-prompted to open up the pull request. We are auto-prompted to open up the pull request. Click the green button. Click the green button. We've now got a pull request open. Our ticket should have auto-updated into the in progress step. We can see that it was. It's updated into the verify and review. I'm going to post this inside of Slack. This is my second pull request for today, #recoup. It's actually my third, but the first one I wrote last night, so I'm not counting it. New stuff that I'm writing today. Ticket, get my ticket linked. Get rid of URL previews to keep the channel clear. Now we add in some testing notes. Close these open tabs. Looks like the build's gonna work. I'm wondering why I've changed 6 files. That feels like a lot of files changed. Cursor rules, we don't need to commit those changes. So I'll ignore those for now, and I'll roll it back before pushing. I think should all be the scratch pad. Yeah, this is all this. It's only modified the scratch pad, and I don't care about its modification of the scratch pad. So we'll end up ignoring those changes. Upload route is being changed. We don't need this to be changed. So I'll check out the main version of this. Git checkout main. Let's get that route updated. Are there any other routes that we actually didn't want to change? Wait for animation to complete before removing. Okay. Again, I'm not happy that I'm defining all of this inside of the same files. I would rather create new components. This entire div could be a new component called shows the ID, has the input, and it's so there's a row. Like we can make this as a row, and I'm gonna make this as a row. Handle input, its input handle. Create a new component for what is being mapped here. Actual mapped component defined in parent, required new, I don't even know what it's going to call it. Let's let it define it. Required new component for the child being mapped. Just in case it doesn't know I'm talking about this file, send this. Let's let it do the update. I have the visions. I prioritize what's important. I tell the AI this is what's important. The AI implements the change. I verify the change. If I like it, we ship it to prod. That's the loop. Create simple loops that we can practice. Social platform input. It needs an ID of value is removing on remove and on change. Don't know if I like how many props it has, but at least we now have a standalone component that is less than 50 lines of code. This follows single responsibility principle of each component should do exactly one thing instead of doing multiple things. We can see that we're now getting better typing as well. Instead of an any, it's updated to use the actual typing. And now we're mapping over a single component instead of mapping over something that's defined. Unknown is not, okay. There's an error, record string. I'm kind of blind accepting right now. Let's go back. All errors have been fixed. It's now summarizing its changes. I'm going to remove these comments because well, it's relatively important what it's doing there. I think it's aligning the animation. Let's leave the comment because it seems to be important for understanding the functionality. Let's code should be self-documenting. Actual comment required to explain timer for animation completion. Required new function with clear name so comments are unnecessary. I don't know if I spelled that word right. I'm going to give it the file again. Let's see if it can understand what I'm talking about here. I don't like these comments. Code should be self-documenting. Right now it's important because if I delete those, I'm not going to understand what the purpose of the timeout is. So let's see what it does. If it ends up making the code more complex, whatever its changes, I'll roll it back and we'll keep the comments. But I want it to at least make one pass to get the code quality where I want it to be. Fade out animation duration is 300 milliseconds. We have one shared const. remove platform after the animation, handle the remove. We set the timeout. I'd say that this looks cleaner. Is the time defined? Duration's 200 milliseconds there, but we're saying 300 milliseconds up top. We'll leave it. I'm happy with this. We don't have any more comments in here. We need to use this, git status, git add components, git commit -m, I add new social platform input component, git status, git push origin branch name, ship that up to my branch on git. I'll verify after I did it that I think I've been committing my changes to cursor rules, which I didn't want to do, but we're doing. Not a big deal. I'll tell it to clean it up once we've verified everything else. Scroll past cursor rules. We don't care about it. Input handle now is using no dev comments with human readable function names. It's using the new component that we've created. Collapse that. It looks good. We've got our new component just for displaying one single social platform input that can be reused anywhere else in our application. Use artist setting was not updated. I have no idea why this is being modified. Let's roll this back because it seems to just be styling changes. Git checkout main, git status, git commit -m, roll back changes, git, I think I already have it here, git push origin. It's going to be faster than me trying to copy the branch name. This should remove an entire delta, which is going to make our pull request simple. Our pull request should have precisely the changes required to implement the change. Nothing more, nothing less. These styling changes are a distraction in the review, and they make it harder for myself, as well as any other reviewer, to understand what are the actual minimum set of changes required to implement the bug fix that you're doing, whether it's a new feature. This is the same. Like, why did we make this change? It doesn't actually need to be made. So we get checkout main file name. Get checkout main file name will update our version of this file with whatever's in main, and that's ultimately just going to get rid of our changes and just go back to main. Get commit -m file name, I roll back changes, commit it, hit up on my keyboard a couple times until I see the push command. We push again. Push our changes. Changes have been pushed. We should go from 5 files down to 4. So I'm slowly making our pull request even smaller by getting rid of files that we ultimately don't need included in here. Also, why is our PNPM lock being modified? We haven't modified the package.json, so this should not get modified. And now I think our cursor rules are ready to roll back to main. So I'm going to say, please clean up your scratch pad to prepare for a new task. While it does that, I'm going to get checkout main PNPM lock, git commit -m rollback changes. And now I'm just going to wait for the AI to clean up its own scratch pad. After that, our pull request should be ready to ship. Before we had like 7 files being changed. I think after this, it's going to be 3. Our cursor rules, which is ultimately getting it back to a fresh scratch pad, and then the 2 files that we actually needed to, actually change to implement functionality. We've got a clean scratch pad now. Git add.cursor rules, git commit -m, clean scratch pad, git. We've already got this command in there, so I can just hit up until we go back to the previous command, ship these changes up to git. Oh no, I didn't include a space. Now we've got our space. Now we push. Okay, our changes have been pushed. We have 4 files changed. We expect to go down to 3. We've gone down to 3. We've cleaned up our cursor rules so that now in main, it's always going to be the, now in main, it's always going to be a fresh scratch pad. Let's keep that where it is. We've already reviewed the other files. Now we'll just wait for the deployment, and then we'll test, because we've made a lot of these little changes to clean it up and reduce our changes. Now we need to verify in a deployment, in a deployed environment, that the changes are still working. Okay, it looks like Vercel is still building on a few of our branches, so we've got a backlog of builds. I'm gonna cancel anything that's not our latest deployment to speed up this process and focus on deploying our latest set of changes. Come back to deployments. We're deploying a random one. I will cancel that, cancel it. Should hopefully trigger our clean scratch pad. Yep. Now we'll sit and wait. I'm sure something will pop in my head in a couple seconds. Less is more. Less activity being yapped about, more space to come back to the bones. Back to the bones. Let's go into linear while this is deploying and check out what our next task is going to be. Verify step, missing existing social profiles. My first question is, does that require a change to the back end? It might not. We might be able to do this just from the front end. We're making a query to the back end. I think we can do this from the front end. So we'll go and implement this one next because it is a P0. I've seen it create a poor end experience for our musicians. And so we'll focus on the P0s first. If you're not already familiar with the priority rankings, P0 means it's critical and it's negatively impacting our end humans that use our applications. P1 means that it's an important change. It is potentially a bug that needs to be fixed, but people can still use the app. It doesn't push them away from continuing to use the app. It still works. And then a P2, this is a net new thing. If we don't do it, it's not breaking anything. It's not negatively impacting the end human experience. P2s are like, this is a brand new thing that we want to add in and introduce. And so that gives us the ability to prioritize. P0s get done first. That's negatively impacting our end musician experience. We want to improve that first. Then we focus on other bugs that might be hurting us, but we could wait a little bit. And P2s only work on brand new features when you're at a stable build. If you have bugs, we should not be adding new features. We should be focused on those P0s to get us back to a stable build. Always come back to the bones. If our bones are out of whack, no matter how much we try to use our muscles, the bones underneath will not allow the muscles to move. And so what will happen is our muscles will get incredibly tense to try to move the bones in a way that they don't work. If we properly orient our bones and start with the bones and get our bones in place, then movements become way easier. I can do a forward fold because my hips are properly aligned. I can lift up my arms knowing that my shoulders are properly positioned. So we first orient the bones, have a great understanding of how our bones are positioned in our body, how do they connect. After that, once we have a great understanding, we can then come into manipulation of those bones into newer and newer features that expand the functionality from a place of stillness and a place of observing reality clearly without delusion and defilements. Get a new login code. We're finally able to test. I could have done this earlier, but I was yapping. Something I've noticed is when I go on live, I yap a ton. If I'm just here by myself, I wouldn't be saying a single word. But because I know that I'm live, the act of just the setting of knowing that I'm being recorded, I'm now talking more. Why? Unsure. This is just an observation for now. Okay, this pull request is for adding the X's, I believe. Let me go back to verify. I've already forgotten what I'm building. X to remove a social platform. Latasha should be set with like 3. This looks awesome. Let's try an artist that doesn't have many, like Heno. Let's check out Heno. Heno's only got 1. Let's go over to agents. Now that Heno's selected, we'll go into Wrapped. I don't know if Heno has a TikTok, so we'll skip TikTok. We'll keep his Instagram. We'll keep his Twitter and his Spotify. And we'll see if we can click the X to get rid of TikTok. Click the X to get rid of TikTok. That was something I wanted to change. Right now, these inputs are way too wide. And I think on mobile, the X isn't even visible. So we got to go back and fix this. Going to take a screenshot and give this to the composer. I'm going to undo its latest changes to let's reject this. Let's give it an image. I wasn't able to drag fast enough, and I don't want to go and find it in my file history. So drag this. So now it's got the image. The inputs are too wide. Actual on mobile, I cannot click the X because input is too wide. Required input width is smaller for cleaner aesthetics and full functionality of the X button on mobile. This is why we test first. I almost shipped it to prod. I'll adjust the width to ensure the X buttons are accessible on mobile and improve the overall aesthetics. Perfect. It's not using its scratch pad right now. Okay, we make width full. P, minimum width of 90 pixels. Max width of 200 pixels. This looks fine. Let's see how it looks locally, because I should still be running my server. Yep, we are. Let's check on localhost. Let's do the same thing. We'll highlight Heno. Now that Heno's selected, go over to agents. And once we're in agents, we select your fan base wrapped. Now I'm going to inspect the page to get into a mobile view. I'll try clicking it again in case it didn't register because I'm doing a lot. Okay, it's verifying. Fingers crossed, we should now have a more aesthetically pleasing set of inputs. We can at least see it now. Let's get rid of TikTok. This looks beautiful. It's way better than before. Let's close this and see how it looks on. This looks way better. Great work. Add this change. Switch over to here, git commit -m. I changed input width to fix mobile bugs. Unverify step. Close the quote, hit up until we find the push command, push it again. So as you can see, I'm now spending less time coding and more time setting the requirements for new tasks and verifying the work that the AI is doing. I've not written a single line of code. As far as I'm aware, I could be wrong, but we've been coding here for nearly an hour, and I have not had to actually write any code. All that I've been doing is defining human readable tasks, taking screenshots, telling the AI to write the code, and then after the AI writes the code, I verify that the code meets my standards and that the output human interface is aesthetically pleasing and I like the experience, and it's ultimately improving the end experience in production. Let's go back to the pull request. We're going to do another set of review. Go to the files changed. No changes to cursor rules. The only file that was changed is our new component, right? Just that input, just that new input. And we added those styling changes. I love that Cursor does front end. I hate doing front end work. And it used to be that I needed to bring in an additional dev to do that stuff. And the dev didn't like doing the work either. The dev wasn't happy with what I paid them. And I wasn't happy with the work that they delivered ultimately, or their availability, or their speed. And so now that I can do all this with Cursor, it's empowering me to be able to do more. And so there's an upside to and a downside of that. On the upside, I'm empowered to do more. And so whatever I can imagine, I can do it, whether that's smart contracts, front end, back end, I can do the full stack on my own. The downside is I'm empowered to do more. And so while before I leaned more on an external team, now I take more responsibility. And so if I'm not making time to write these changes aren't getting done. And so there's two polarities with all the decisions. And what's important is that we are able to see the polarities, but we identify with the truth that's behind it. The truth is I'm empowered to do more. I can associate a positive or a negative signal with that. But the truth is we're given tools that allow us to do 10 times more than we could have done even 6 months ago. As a result, we get to decide how much control we want. Did we want to stay more independent? Did we want to stay more sovereign? If yes, these tools are enabling us to do that. If you want to give away your power, if you want to say, I don't identify with being a coder, I don't identify with being a designer, because that's what you were raised with, or those are the mental models that were planted into you by your friends or family or the people close to you. If those serve you, continue to live them. And if one day you wake up and that mental model shatters, great, the AI tools are capable to support you in whichever mental model you want to navigate the world in. No matter how close it is to reality, you can navigate the world with a much more diverse set of mental models. And the tools that exist allow us to live, no matter how much defilement you have in front of your view, it's getting easier and easier to navigate the world around you, because these tools will support whatever mental models we're coming into the situation with. I'm going to tire myself out socially with all this yapping. I can deplete my social energy being by myself. All I have to do is turn on a camera and go live. At least this session's been very revealing. Okay, we're back logged in. We can see Heno. We go over to agents. Let's trigger the wrapped agent for Heno. Let's see how it looks now. Those all look perfect. Let's get rid of TikTok, because I don't know if Heno has a TikTok, and I'm going to change his Spotify to Heno, because that's not correct right now. And let's continue. We're now running the analysis. Setting up artist mode first. I see a Spotify URL. I see an X URL. I'm still missing Instagram, but I think Instagram comes in last. Let's copy Heno's artist ID and check out how he's looking. I'm loving this for me as a dev, this is awesome. I don't know if it's helping our end musicians, but now if a musician has a bug, I can ask them, what's the artist ID? They can send this to me, and it's going to allow me to do much greater debugging on the back end. Apply the filter. Heno has 2 accounts right now. I expect him to have 3 because I'm running the analysis with 3. Let's close this tab. We'll wait for this report to get finished. A little bit of silence. I do also still need screenshots for my pull request. So let me copy URL, test here. Let's get rid of any text that's not funnels wrapped. I don't want the preview. Get rid of that before we even make it. Enter to allow people to see that. Now I want to get an example. I'll do that by copying this tab. I should be able to come back to this. So let's test if I'm able to, well, I don't want to put too much load on the backlog. We want to keep momentum going on the tasks that we have defined. So let me try a new tab. Back home, let's click a random musician like Sound of Fractures. And with Sound of Fractures selected, let's go to the Agents tab, Your Fan Base Wrapped. Now it should. Let's do it in mobile view. If it works on mobile, it's going to work on desktop. 90% of the time, that's the case. So let's show it on mobile. No, I'm not grabbing fast enough. What's going on over here? Get a new screenshot. Grab the screenshot, pull it over to the screen. X button before. Now I'm going to get rid of TikTok. That looks incorrect. Used X to remove Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, and remove TikTok. And then I'll come back over to Heno and say analysis still works whenever this finishes. Looks like we're stuck on looking at Heno's profile. Is the agent actually stuck there? Or am I just impatient? Refreshing, we should be able to see the status. Yeah, it says it's still looking at Heno's profile. Let's see if we can get the status of this agent. Let's copy the ID. Agent status is here, which has an agent. Do agents have only an updated at? Are there any links between? There are social IDs. So I could get an agent status for a social ID. Let's get account socials. And let's search by Heno. We're already searching by Heno. And I do not see Heno's Instagram in here. So I think that step might have gotten missed. So this might be a bug with Instagram funnel not properly connecting to an account, not properly setting the link between the artist and the account. I can verify this by trying to run Sound of Fractures. Let's try adding in Sound of Fractures. And let's see if the report works for Sound of Fractures. I'm not seeing setting up artist mode, which tells me that we might have just found a bug in the Instagram agent specifically. Let's do the same thing with Sound of Fractures. I see his Instagram. I wonder if he already had his Instagram in here because he did already have a TikTok in here. Let's check him out in the back end just to see what we see. What do we see here? We see 4 handles. I see a Sound of Fractures on Instagram. I see a Sound of Fractures on TikTok. I see a Sound of Fractures on Twitter, on X, and I see a Sound of Fractures on Spotify. Looks like Sound of Fractures is properly hooked together. I think he was already connected up before this, but I am still seeing Instagram is stuck on looking at Sound of Fractures profile. So let's try to find which one's his Instagram and see what the status is of this. Instagram's right here. This is our social ID. Let's copy the cell contents and go to agent status, has a social ID, filter by social ID of the social, and we can see status of 6, which is probably looking at profile, updated on the 12th, 2 minutes ago. So it was last updated 2 minutes ago. We do see the run. Let's give this a little bit of time to see if it actually is going to update. I think we've just found a bug, and it looks like Instagram, there's something wrong with the Instagram funnel such that it is not running. We're getting stuck on so we should have 3 agent statuses here. Let's copy the agent ID, switch from social ID to agent ID, and now let's paste in the agent ID. I can see that 2 of them have completed, 1 of them is still in progress, and I'm not seeing the other one getting updated. Both are stuck at looking at their social profile. So let's note this as another bug and keep moving on. I'll do one more test using TikTok and skipping Instagram. I swear Instagram was just working in prod, so I'm wondering if I have broken something. But for now, I'm just going to note the ticket and move on. P0, Instagram, agent, stuck on step 6. Actual Instagram agent stuck on step 6, which is yada yada. Required Instagram agent processes all steps of the agent without getting stuck. Part of me is wondering if our Apify agent might not be running. So let me do a quick ancillary check over to Apify. And let's check out our Apify account to see if there's anything I'm missing over here. It looks like we have reached our monthly limit. So that is the issue we're hitting on Instagram. So it doesn't seem like we're actually, wow, we're burning through our limits now. I actually don't know if we can increase our limits anymore. Recoup, confirm. Is it possible for me to just increase the limit? Limits 222. What's the highest I can go? 300. For now, we're just going to set it at the max. And I'm going to test the agent again to see if that fixes it. So I'll go to agents. Let's go to wrapped. Now we're going to verify Jamie's sound of fractures. I'll get rid of TikTok one more time. I'll put in sound of fractures here, and then we continue. This time, I expect Instagram to move past looking for sound of fractures profile. Let me go back to the social. This should be sound of fractures Instagram. Let's copy the cell content, filter the social ID by the social ID. Updated at, this one's more recent, this agent ID. So let's copy the cell contents, view this agent ID, apply. Okay, we have something on step 6. One's already finished at step 2. One's moved on to step 7. One is still on step 6. How are we doing over here? I'm seeing both put in a weird state. Let's try running this again. Definitely still bugs I need to fix. Refreshing the page so that I can get a clean view. Something weird happened there. Sound of fractures is what I'm trying to run it on. We get rid of TikTok, update Spotify to be sound of fractures, and then continue. Let's try going back to that social profile by finding the correct social ID. Sound of fractures on Instagram. I just saw the avatar update to an Arweave link. Let's copy cell contents, filter by social ID equals the social ID. I see 3. One of these is now at 10, and it was started. Let's sort by updated at, not ascending, so we get latest first. 10 was updated the latest. So we'll copy this cell content, filter by not social, we actually want the agent. Copy cell content, agent ID is equal to that. This is everything in our agent. We've got 2 that have been completed. One is stuck on 7. What is this? Sound of fractures on Twitter. 2 is sound of fractures on Instagram. I think Instagram is finished. Instagram is complete. Twitter is we're still reviewing on Twitter. Looks like we just finished. I think we just fixed that other bug. Let's refresh the status here. They're all on 2. Our progress is not correct, but we're not going to worry about that. At least the status is getting updated and our funnels are working. So I'm going to do one more test with Heno to make sure that we understand what's going on. We're now on Heno's profile. Refresh just to make sure I'm actually in on Heno's. Heno has a Spotify and an X. I want it to add his Instagram as well. Go into agents, go to wrapped. Get rid of TikTok. Heno.continue. Okay, let's run the same loop that we always do. Get Heno's artist ID, go to Supabase, go to artist socials, account socials, filter, account ID is my artist. Now I want to find the Spotify, Instagram, that one's new, and Twitter. I'm going to copy the Twitter, copy cell contents, go back to agent status, filter by the social ID. Now we get the most recent right here. Copy the agent ID, cell contents, filter by agent ID. We should have 3 agent statuses, one for Instagram, one for Twitter, and one for Spotify. We can see Instagram and Spotify are complete, which are marked by a 2. Instagram and Spotify are complete. 7 is still running. That one should now be changed to a 2 as well. If we refresh, we now see a 2 across the board, which signals successful completion for Heno. How are we doing on my pull request? Use X to remove. Now I'm going to say funnel finishes successfully. Funnel successful. Very quickly, I'm going to share that we have exceeded our limits in Apify. Apify limit reached $222 per month. Problem, we are still duplicating a lot of Apify content scraping. Solution, only scrape content which we have not already scraped. Next step, create a ticket for now. I've increased the limit to $300 per month. I'm going to tag @Sid because he is the financial manager of the team. Let's keep moving. I'm going to go back to my pull request. We should be good to ship pull request number 2 now. This one we got slowed down a lot, and that happens. I think we've reviewed everything. Were there any changes in the code that I've not already reviewed? Nope, we've got checked, viewed files across the board. Moving a little slow. I'm going to get rid of files and manually change my URL, and now we'll ship it. Squash and merge, confirm squash and merge, Command Shift F, so I'm sorry, Command Shift 4, so that I can take a screenshot, move my screenshot into the chat, ship emoji. We have shipped 2 tickets on this hour call. So our current rate is more or less 30 to 45 minutes per ticket, relatively slow. Let's see what's next. We can remove this agent stuck because that was just because we didn't have funds. Verify step, missing existing social profiles. This one's going to be fun to see how it implements. I'm excited to see if Cursor can do this because personally I'm not entirely sure where I would start with this. Git checkout main, git pull, git reset head hard, git checkout main, git pull origin main, git checkout -b, paste the branch name, git push origin new branch name. Get out of this tab because it's never helpful. We should still be running. I'm going to make sure that we're looking at the latest version by refreshing this page. And let's see how long it takes to do that refresh. Mientras tiempo, meanwhile, I'm going to say, prepare your Scratchpad for a new task. Let me give it its new task. Copy the name, give it the name, copy all the steps, paste all the steps. Let's copy the image. Paste the image, run it in agent mode. So our page is still thinking. Okay, our server has loaded. Excuse me. Cursor has already updated its rules. Update social profile verification step. Modify the verification step to prioritize existing social profiles before using. Sounds more or less accurate. Always searches for new social handles, ignores existing records. Required changes so that we check the table first. Display existing linked profiles for verification. Use only the Tavily API if no existing profiles are found. Improve accuracy and reduce redundant searches. First, it'll investigate. It'll then plan its implementation. Then it'll develop. Then it'll test. I just say, please continue. And it keeps going. We're back on the home page. It's going to run some investigation. Found the key components involved. Let me update the scratch pad with the findings and the plan. Perfect. I very much like giving the agent a scratch pad, someplace that it can write that isn't my code. It gives us a little bit of like a purgatory, kind of like middle space, like a gray area between my ideas and the code, where I'm communicating ideas to the agent documents them here in this, and then as long as we're on the same page about the cursor rules, it implements in language that it understands for cursor rules. Key components: get handles, makes the call, get existing handles, gets existing profiles, use agents, verify, K, implementation plans, modify, look up profiles to check, only call. I don't know if you can actually do that. I'm excited to see if its update will work. I think it needs to make the call to Tavily and then only shows results on the front end that are not already saved to that artist. But what it's currently suggesting is we're going to check first what we already have, call Tavily to only search for profiles that we don't already have. I don't know if that path makes sense. Yeah, look at that. Now we got formatting. Accept. Nope, it undid its own formatting again. Detailed implementation. Existing handles. If funnel type is wrapped. Else. Over that looks like the step we need, this set handle step. Okay. Handle equals scraping artist or selected artist. Existing handles. Let's get existing handles. Has all handles. Dot every. This is more code than I was expecting to be changed. Fix the remaining linter errors. This seems like more code than is required. My gut says we just need this set handles. But I'll let it implement what it thinks, and I'm not going to try to overthink what it's doing. Let's accept. I'm still seeing, was add conversation being used before? It's going to remove an unused import. Should be the last thing, is it removes this add conversation. How long is this file? This file's getting, it's over 100 lines. I'm thinking it's too long. Why is lookup profiles defined inside of here? It's removing the unused import. Accept those changes. It's now going to update its rules, saying that it's fixed it. I'm going to verify that use conversation was never actually used beforehand. Keep undoing, keep undoing, keep undoing. Okay, so it looks like I've gone all the way back and this was still not used. So that seems like a valid removal to get rid of the add conversation. I'll go all the way forward as far as I can. Save. Okay. It looks like it's telling us that it has already fixed the bug way faster than I could have, but now we gotta verify if it's actually doing it. Let's check if it is actually doing what we expect it to do. Heno already has Instagram, X, and Spotify. We're missing TikTok, so I would expect if we go to autopilots for Heno and then go to Wrapped, it's going to use the same social handles that we've already saved, and in addition, it's going to auto-populate TikTok. After that, I'll check out Sound of Fractures because we saw some weird results with him earlier. Click Agents again. Go to the Wrapped. I only expect a new handle being shown for TikTok. Everything else should be showing the same ones. Spotify is totally missing, even though it's here. Let's see if I can give it this screenshot. Gonna highlight both places. Spotify is a weird one. We're gonna be fixing it in a future pull request. Before I tell it that this is off, let me check a different artist like Sound of Fractures. Let's go back home. Sound of Fractures has all 4 profiles filled, so I would expect for him, we're pre-filling all of those. I'm going to try changing his X to Heno. Let's save that change. And what I hope is that when we try to run Wrapped, it's going to keep the X as Heno. The X isn't even correct, but let's try it. What I'm hoping is going to happen now, Twitter was not showing the account I expect. I expect Twitter, oh, it deleted it altogether. Weird. Let's go back home and try this again. Don't know what happened there. My name is Heno. More bugs. If I let go of my click outside of this box, it closes the box, thinking that I'm clicking outside. Save. Let's refresh the page. See if these errors are of importance. Hydration error, ignore that for now. Hydration error, ignore that. Hydration, all the errors are hydration related. My name is Heno is saved in X. Let's go over to agents. From agents, we go to Wrapped. I'm hoping we see my name is Heno. For the Twitter, we are seeing my name is Heno for the Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So it's seeming like overall, it's working, but Spotify it's not. So let's dig deeper into the Spotify error. We'll select an image. Desktop, find my image with all the fields selected. Your changes fixed. All social platforms except Spotify. Actual Spotify field is always let me check what happens if it's an account that does not have a Spotify. Like, does Elon have a Spotify? Elon does not have a Spotify account. So let's refresh the page on Elon being selected. If a musician does not have a Spotify, let me verify that Elon does not have a Spotify in Supabase by going to account socials. We find Elon's social handle, or his account, his artist ID. Go back into the database, filter by account ID equals Elon's account ID. I'm expecting to see 3. There's only 2. There's only two. Instagram and X. That makes sense. And so I expect it to use the existing social platforms and then to fill in new ones for, let's just see what it does. I'm overthinking. I only see 2 handles now, Instagram and Twitter. Is it going to give us the other 2 of Spotify and TikTok? Let's try creating a new artist and see what happens. I'll go back home, click the plus button, Kendrick Lamar. Let's save Kendrick. And with Kendrick, let's see what a new artist looks like. I would expect 4 inputs from Tavali. For a new artist, it looks like I'm not seeing Tavali. It seems like is totally being skipped now. I'm not seeing it for anything. Okay, so there's a couple items of feedback. Feedback 1, missing Spotify always. 2, missing Tavali suggestions for missing handles. 3, new artist, no handles showing, is not showing Tavali results, should be. Let's just give it those steps and see if it's able to fix anything off of that. We're not properly merging the results when some handles exist. For new artists, we have a logic error in handling empty existing artists. Let me fix all those. All these changes are just in the use agents hook. And I think we're going to want to break this out into a couple smaller hooks because this one, again, is getting very long. Set handles. Looks like we're deleting code. We always like to see less code. Let's accept. Let me also check how the handles are being processed. I see the issue now. Let me fix both functions. First, let's fix the Spotify URL handling and get existing handles. Get existing handles. We now are setting a correct type, socials.for each, setting it to lowercase. If it's Spotify, just doing a whole bunch of changes, and it looks like it's just making more verbose handling of the individual handles. It's going to update its Scratchpad, and then I'm going to run it through the test again. I want to be testing 3 different states. 1, a fully complete artist that has all their profiles filled in. 2, an in-process musician that only has some of their handles filled in. And 3, a brand new artist that does not have any social handles attached to their profile. Looks like we're done over here, so I'm going to delete Kendrick, and then I'm going to create him again. Let's delete Kendrick. Yep. Kendrick should not be in my list anymore. Let's also delete this empty Megan Thee Stallion. Okay. Now I can click Create New Artist, Kendrick Lamar. Now when I click Save, it's going to open up the wrapped funnel. And I'm hoping this time we get all the results from Tably. Are we stuck? Nope, there it is. Okay, we've got empty boxes. Actual new artist shows empty boxes. Required new artist shows Tably responses. Let's focus on new artists only. All 3 cases. 1, new artist. All socials from Tably. Existing partial artist. Some existing socials. Some from Tably. And then case 3, a fully complete artist. Use only existing handles. Skip Tably response. For new artist, I see inputs for all social platforms. All inputs are empty. Required, all inputs for new artist are filled from Tably because the artist does not have any existing socials. More typing than I would like to be doing, but at least it's all human readable English. Anything I want to see here? Agents is not iterable. And this might be a different error that we'll need to address, but let's see how it updates it. Has any existing handles? If not, we set all the responses to Tably, else we merge them by getting those existing handles or the Spotify handles. So it looks like there's only new code being added. I don't like that you need to check for the solution should be flexible to handle without explicit booleans like this. Try adding logging so I can provide you more info so you can navigate these changes with greater confidence and clarity. Okay. Now we've got a lot more logging. Okay. Let's try running this again. Delete Kendrick again. Go back home. Let's create a new artist. Seems like my changes are not working. We're still seeing Megan Thee Stallion here, even though I've already deleted this artist. New artist, Kendrick Lamar. Save. Let's open up the inspect console. Did it add in any sort of looking up profiles? Excellent. So what I can do is I can copy this name to get better filtering on the logs we're looking for. There we go. Verifying. I see Kendrick filled in for all of them. Let's let Kendrick keep going. Tably gave us all 4 handles. Continue, and now it's running. New artist, filled everything in. Let's check an existing artist like TK, who might have one profile but might be missing some of the others. And after that, we'll try an artist like Sound of Fractures, who already has included all of their handles. TikTok finished pretty quickly. Instagram's still going, Twitter's still going, Spotify is most likely done already. Twitter's done. I'm now seeing Kendrick's PFP, which is usually just a black circle. I can see he's loaded in 3 social profiles. I'm expecting a 4th for Spotify. Okay, we now see Kendrick reporting out here. Account socials. Let's see what was set. Apply. Hopefully there's 4. I only see 3, so it looks like we missed Spotify for some reason. It's going to be fine for now. Let's move on to the next one. Let's try an in-process person like TK. And now that we have TK selected, let's check out what he's already got. He doesn't have anything in here. Do we have, how's Duodo looking? Duodo's got two, we've got Instagram and X. We're missing TikTok and Spotify. So, but let's, who's a good artist we can check? How's Latasha looking? We've got everything but Spotify for Latasha. Let's try running Latasha. I've got Latasha active just to make sure I don't hit any bugs. I'm going to refresh the page. We've tested brand new artists. Seems to be working fine. We saw items filled in for all four that are brand new. For Latasha, I'm going to change her X to be Heno. And the reason I'm going to do that is just to verify that it is using the values that we've already filled in instead of populating new ones. Come back to the bones. Modify Latasha, change the X to my name is Heno. Going to do the same thing for both, just for Instagram. Save that. I forget it automatically starts scraping if we modify. My name is Heno. My name is Heno. Call me Latasha. Feeling good here. Let's refresh and verify. And then we'll run a new agent. Let's verify Latasha's profiles. I see my name is Heno in 2 locations. Let's go over to agents and try running a wrapped analysis again. I'm expecting this time I see 2 fields populated with Heno, 1 populated with her existing handle for one of the platforms, TikTok, and then a new one that should be her Spotify. So I'm just going to put Latasha, and it's number 2. Let's update these to be her correct handle on all the platforms. But it seems correct. We preserved the 3 that we already had. We added 1 new one. Now we continue. And we should see a funnel that is run for Latasha with those profiles. Let me see what Latasha has in the database now. I'm curious of, that was a lot of weird changes that I just made to her profile. How are those being reflected in her socials? If I go into the database, I look up the specific account for Latasha. I apply the filter. I see more handles in here than I was expecting. I only expect 4 to ever be associated. So if it starts to be more, we're not properly managing. I see a Heno, Twitter it looks like. I see a Heno, Instagram. I see a Latasha, Twitter. So we have 2 Twitters, one for Heno and one for Latasha. I see a Latasha, Instagram. We've got 2 Instagrams, one for Heno, one for Latasha. And then I've got a Latasha Spotify, and I've got a Latasha TikTok. So it seems that when we update, we are actually adding new socials in when we should be modifying the existing ones that are linked. So this is going to be a new ticket that I'll start writing up. This will be a P1 because it's not directly influencing or impacting customers, musicians. P1, updating social link creates new record in account socials. Actual account socials more than four records for a account ID required if the artist being updated already has a link for a given social profile, comma, update that existing record in the account socials table with the new link. Now I take this ticket, I'm going to give it to chat, and I'm going to have chat write my tickets for me. Make it a little bit more human readable. Measure twice, cut once. Action required. Let's copy those, put it into my ticket, delete the existing content. Updating a social link currently creates a new record in the table. The behavior can lead to multiple records for the same social profile under a single account ID. Update the update process so that if the artist being updated already has a link for a given social profile, the existing record in the account socials table is updated with the new link instead of creating a new record. This will ensure there's only ever one record per social for each account ID. That sounds perfect for now. I might be wrong on this, and maybe in the future we want to associate multiple, but for now that's our mental model. And so let me get a screenshot of the table. And I'll modify this a little bit to add in some more context. Six records filtered on account ID, required formats. Done. Image. Let's upload the image. And now this ticket is ready. Create the ticket. I want to get those verified, so I'm going to move this below those. Where am I at in my current build process? We're running locally. I think it's working now. We have tested Latasha, who should have just finished up a report. I see Latasha's report is finished. We tested a brand new artist of Kendrick. And now I want to test an artist that I already have all the data for, like Neil. If we test out Neil, I don't see a Spotify URL for him, so it looks like that's missing. Let me find someone that has all of them, potentially me. I have all four, so I expect it to use what I've already got. Let's go to agents. And then I'll refresh the page. While I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and push these changes. Git status, git add hooks and lib. I'm going to add the cursor rules to my git ignore. That way we always keep it as an empty scratch pad. There should be a miscellaneous section. Here's our miscellaneous section. Dot cursor rules. Git status again. Git add dot git ignore. Git status. I don't expect to be seeing cursor rules. Git diff dot cursor rules. Yeah, I don't want those changes. Git status. Git commit dash m. Let me just paste in the name of the ticket. Verify step missing existing social profiles. Push those changes. Grateful to have the space to be able to work on my projects for nearly 2 hours without interruption. Nobody's come in and sent a message. I haven't gotten any fires or burning texts or calls. To have this space to work deeply in a focused manner on what I find important is truly the artistic lifestyle. I'm very grateful to be able to live it. And I'm grateful to anybody who's tuned in the stream who is getting to experience it secondhand. Let's go to agents. Let's try running my wrapped, and I should see all 4 fields filled with my existing data, which is going to be Sweetman.eth on TikTok, Sweetman.eth on Instagram, Sweetman_eth on X, and my Spotify URL, which is 5xgt yada, yada, yada. I wonder if there's more text here that I just can't see. There's more text in it. Yep, I think it got it all perfectly. Let's continue and watch it run for this one. But in the meantime, I'm going to start opening up the pull request because it seems like this has fixed the error that we were seeing before. It's the first time I'm seeing 4 in here. We never see Spotify. This is great. It's not great because this means that there's ultimately a bug. But let's smell the roses when we have success. Okay, let's keep pushing. Do we have any changes? Nope. Git, I think I've already done the push command. Let's start setting up this pull request. Go back to GitHub. Starting to feel tired. I want to at least get one of the previews for the PFPs in place. So let's get to that stage first. Probably the drop down for Spotify because I feel more confidence on what we can get there with Spotify than what we can potentially get for the profiles. I think we're going to hit some. We might need some new backend APIs to get some of those profile previews. Copy the pull request URL. Let's paste it into Slack in the Recoup paste that pull request. Let's get missing step. Get the ticket label in here. Looks like our build is failing. Let's check out what is causing it to fail. I have a feeling it's that Tavali line that we saw. Close all the others. Right here, line 85, I have a prediction is the error. Line 85. All we do is click on it. Let's, that was all it needed. We should be fixed. Git status, git add caps lock get off, hooks, git commit -m, I fix build errors related to typing. We do the push by referencing an existing execution that we've done, an existing command. We just passed 2 hours on this live stream. If you're tuned in and you're watching this, leave a comment with whatever you're getting out of this, if there's something you'd like to see. But mostly I'm just interested, if you're tuned in right now, what value are you getting? Why are you tuned in? Is it here to hear me yap? Do you just want to see what I'm building to get some alpha on what I'm building before I announce it publicly? Are you hoping to learn something? Let me know in the comments why you're tuned into this 2 hour plus live stream. Okay. I think we're good on the dev logging here. I'm going to give it 2 pieces of feedback. 1, this ticket is fixed now. Nice work. 2, remove dev logging. 3, this hook is too long. Keep all files under 100 lines of code. Please create a new hook/lib so you can follow the single responsibility principle. Update your scratch pad with this lesson. Let's see what it does if I give it all that feedback. We should see a successful build now that I've fixed the error. Let me clean up the code and update it. It's going to update its rules first. My body is telling me I need to use the bathroom. My body is telling me I'm hungry. I'm noticing these signals as little signs that I'm suffering and would like to change. I'm observing these and bringing attention to them, not so that I can act on them, but so that I can give them space to express themselves, so that I don't stay attached to them and I can keep moving forward with the goal that I'm focused on of deep work right now, not taking breaks to listen to some of these other things. How are we doing on the updates? Cursor rules. It's added user specified lessons. Keep all files under 100 lines of code to maintain readability and follow single responsibility principle. Split hooks components when they grow too large to handle that. And then it changed a whole bunch of its stuff down below. Use handle lookup. This is a new hook. It's got the lookup handles function. Let's accept that. And now it creates a use agent runner hook that is tracking some other things. Yep, remove some of the stuff you're not using. That makes sense. And now we should update the original use agent hooks. That makes sense. So it seems like now our use agent hook should be incredibly small, and it's going to be importing 2 other hooks, a runner for the agents and handle lookup for the agents. Love this new architecture. Getting rid of a whole bunch of code. I'm curious why we're still calling lookup artists from here. It is ultimately calling it from somewhere else. Lookup profiles calls lookup handles, and run agents calls run agent from the use agent runner. Way simpler. We're down to 50 lines of code. No, I think this is perfect. Let me copy the note that I made. Well, it should be documented in its cursor rules. Let's copy both of those. We're going to add it all. Let me commit, please. Nice. We'll push here. We should have, we've got it fixed already, so we can start testing. And now I'm going to hold off on testing until these changes have been deployed because we changed the architecture pretty drastically. And so I want to wait for that new architecture to load before I test it. But in the meantime, I can go ahead and log in. I'll log in so that that's one less step that we have to do later on. And then I'll start reviewing the code changes in GitHub. We don't need Apify anymore. Log into my account. I'm here streaming and Opus is still publishing content for me. I schedule my content on Sundays so that during the week, I don't need to think about posting on any social platform. Luckily, I've got Opus to take these long form streams. It chops it up into little short reels, and then it schedules it all for me. So I just focus on doing what I'm doing right now, stay focused, do deep work. And by doing that, Opus then does all of my content scheduling for me. We're here, and I want to test a new artist. What's an artist? I'm going to test FKJ. FKJ. Save. I said I wanted to wait till the latest deployment. Well, I would have expected this to have been done by now. We fixed the build errors related to typing, and now I no longer see anything. We'll wait for this next build. Slowly getting concerned. We'll do testing before I review the code. Well, let me do a quick code review to see if there's anything noticeable jumping out at me. Cursor rules, I still want this to get cleaned up, the scratch pad to get cleaned up before we commit the changes. We've added cursor rules to the git ignore, which does not seem to be being followed. I'm noticing a glare on my screen from the sun as it slowly moves across the sky. I want to go and shut the window, but we'll do that in a couple minutes. We've now got a use agent runner hook that runs, it's got a run agent function, sets agent status, set as initializing, set as loading. We call the agent ABI. If we don't get an agent ID back, we return. Then we push after we've started the funnel, and then we run agent timer. What does run agent timer do? Where's run agent timer? There's run agent timer. It's coming from use funnel analysis provider. This looks fine. Use agents. Are we tracking agent chat? Run agent, track agent chat was called. Looks like the same calls are being made up here. We'll give it a check. Now let's verify the other hook. Existing handles, Tavily handles. That's all being changed here, so we're not going to see a good reference. I'm liking that this is smaller. Nothing is jumping out, blaring. Get existing handles from DB, get the Tavily suggestions, merge the handles, return either all handles or just the requested platform. I think we can just remove the dev comments from this file. Remove dev comments. And this lib to use existing also has logs. I'm going to leave this one because I think this is more useful. Let's collapse this. See how it's doing on the dev logging cleanup. Nice. It even made the code a little bit cleaner, more efficient. Copy the node I gave it, click the plus, enter the node I gave it, commit, hit up once on my keyboard, we push. Okay, we finally got FKJ loaded, so it seems like it was just slow. I'm going to go back home. Let's try deleting FKJ. This Megan Thee Stallion keeps coming back, which is concerning to me. That's an unrelated bug for a different time. Delete FKJ. No more FKJ. Let me try to refresh the page, make sure FKJ is no longer here. What you doing, bro? I see you're writing TS. That gets a like. I see we've got someone tuned in. Joshi, what you doing, bro? I see you're writing TS. That gets a like. Thank you for coming in and supporting the practice. Since we did have someone reply, let's try searching by this profile and see what happens. Let's click new artist. Let's put in the artist that just replied, Joshi, Jahshi. If I click save, this should trigger a new wrapped report to run on this profile. Let's see, I expect we've got Commissioner JHA, Jolly Music, and John C. Hawkins. It doesn't seem like we properly identified any, so I'm just gonna, let's just do Joshi on Twitter. And let's get rid of the rest of them because I don't know if any of those handles are correct. And now we'll continue to run this funnel on the one single handle. Joshi, I'm seeing a different PFP that we have saved. JHSH8. The handle might be different. I don't think I'm using your correct handle, Joshi, because we did not get the correct output. So I'll go back to trying artists that I'm more familiar with. Let me try FKJ again. FKJ. We'll save. Let's go to agents. Go to wrapped. Should fill in all of FKJ's social profiles. Just gonna put FKJ. We really gotta clean up this Spotify box. Twitter, probably FKJ. I'm gonna assume that these are right. Let's continue. Okay, Twitter looks like we got an incorrect handle. FKJ's photo looks correct to me. I see a Spotify, I see a TikTok, I see an Instagram. I do not see X because it looks like we did not properly match that. This one looks good. Let's look him up in Supabase to verify that we do have 3 social handles in here. Filtered, paste, apply. I see 3 in here. One is FKJ on Instagram. One is FKJ on TikTok. And one is FKJ on Spotify. We matched 3 profiles looking up FKJ. This one looks good, and I'm going to try running this profile again. Let's open up a new tab so that I can keep doing stuff without touching this funnel that's running. Right now I'm verifying that everything works so that I can fill it in here. Just go here, test here. FKJ just finished. Looks like he's got 2 million total followers. I'm going to select, how's Heno looking? Heno's got 3 fields in here. Let's try running Heno to make sure that we are getting all the info that we already have. Refresh the page, make sure that I've fully switched over to Heno. And now that I'm here, we'll go into agents, run the wrapped agent, getting Heno's social profiles. Taking a little bit more time than I'm used to. My name is Heno, and then we've got this, which I'm assuming is Heno's artist ID. This is all looking good to me. We'll continue, and Heno should now have 4 profiles. We're still missing TikTok here. Let's see if TikTok gets added as a result of running this funnel. Let's look up Heno. TikTok analysis was complete. Did we properly link Heno's TikTok? I see 4 profiles. Can I see Heno's TikTok profile? I see TikTok is linked. We are on a different tab. Looks like Heno is almost done. I'm surprised Instagram and TikTok finished before Twitter. Twitter is usually the fastest one to complete. Try underscore at the beginning and end. Okay, I'm going to try Joshi. Joshi, I really appreciate you showing up and participating in the call. So I'm going to try your profile now, and let's see what we get. Let's wait for, I don't even need to wait for Heno. Let's go down here, go back to the home page. Let's try creating Joshi again. Underscore at the beginning and end if you want. Let's click add new artist. Type in underscore JAHSHI underscore. So we've got an underscore at the beginning and the end. I click save. We're verifying Joshi's social profiles. I at least want to test out Twitter. Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. It looks like we found you on Twitter. I'm going to assume Instagram and TikTok aren't a thing, and Spotify, and we'll just test Twitter now. Let's continue with just Twitter. Please make sure you're using, it's Yashi. Okay, I'm going to try it again. Let's try one more time. This is going to be the last time I'm testing. Yashi, if you've got more handles, please send them now. I'm going to give this one more try with you, and if it's still not working, I'm going to assume this account is a little bit too obscure to get it working in what we're trying to do here. Let's delete this artist. Let's try, just refresh the page. I've still got a Yashi down here. We've got some profiles linked up to it. It seems like the delete button's not working, so I'm going to keep that there. Let's try underscore capital Y A Yashi HSHI HSHI capital Y AH Ya SHI SHI underscore. Okay, let's see what we get this time. Okay, didn't catch any of them correctly, so I'm going to ignore it all except Twitter, which will make underscore YASHI underscore YAH. Forgot that H. Yashi. Get rid of Instagram, get rid of TikTok, get rid of Spotify. YAHSHI. I've got the same name. Does Twitter work? Looking at Yashi's profile. Is this Yashi? I'm seeing a different PFP than what you're commenting under. You're commenting with some, that's it? Okay, I'm seeing Yashi say that's it, so I'm going to assume I've got it. It looks like your segments are culinary explorers, environmental advocates, travel enthusiasts, tech innovators, fitness buffs, gamer community. I'm seeing low engagement, not super high numbers, and only 19 followers, but we were at least able to pull something. Is there anything else I want to test here? Let me try to, I think I've tested enough. I think it's all working. Peno's working. I've tried 3 different artists. I think that's enough testing. What is this PR for? Let me get us one screenshot in here of the example. So let's close out of this tab and focus on Yashi. So for Yashi, I see his profile. I see what they're doing. Let's go into agents. If I do wrapped now, before the Twitter profile was filled in with an incorrect handle, this time I expect it to be preserved the correct handle. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that over here. That's me. Thanks, Yashi. I really appreciate you showing up and participating. You helped me test a new feature that I'm building. Existing Twitter handle is populated while other 3 missing handles use Tavily API to search. Okay, I think that's enough to now ship it. I spent a lot of time on this PR. After this, I'm going to close the blinds because I cannot see my screen with all the glare from the sun. Cursor rules, we still need to clean up. Social handles is looking super clean. Use handle lookup. I think all that we need to do is tell it to clean up cursor rules. Please prepare your scratch pad for a new task. Once it cleans up its scratch pad, I'll push the changes, we'll merge the changes, and that'll be it. I guess I could have done this myself and it might have been faster. Some tasks, it is faster for me to do it on my own. Other tasks, it's better to let the AI run it. Small things like I already know what I want to delete. I could have done this in 5 seconds, but it's got to make requests. I'm going to live stream, so everything gets a little bit slower. But more time to yap. Nice. I like that it's making more creative liberties in its scratch pad. Originally, it was just scratch pad and then nothing was underneath. And each time I tell it to reset, I'm seeing it update its scratch pad with more and more preferences that the AI is leaving in there. Clean. So hopefully we were reconnecting. I accidentally lost my connection there. Looks like we're fine, stayed right in it. But I'm back now. We should see, did it work? There we go, we can see a refresh. The only changes I expect are these new lessons, and it has updated its analysis steps. I'm fine with that. Let's ship this. Ship this. I'm going to use the bathroom. I'm going to shut the curtains. We're going to keep the stream on, but I'm going to mute and shut off my vision. And then I'll come back and we'll work on at least one more task. I think I've still got a couple more hours, at least one more hour before my next meeting. So I'm going to just keep this live going while I keep shipping code live to make sure that this deployment works. Well, it's only running new evals. The deployment worked. Let's merge this. We already know the evals are failing. Squash it. We just shipped another change. Let's take this image, drag it into Slack, ship emoji. On this live stream, I've shipped 3 updates so far with the help of Cursor over the course of 2.5 hours. It actually seems like our momentum is slowing down rather than speeding up. Just something to observe. This ticket has been marked as done. What's the most impactful ticket? I can implement in order to get us closer to this end result. I'm thinking I want to do something easy like the new Figma design. Part of me also wants to get these drop downs and PFPs implemented. Which one would we prefer? It seems like we're now getting into graphical things like showing PFPs. So I think I want to do the design first. That should be an easy one to get me some momentum to build into these following two. So I think that's what I'll do. Give me just a couple seconds to cool. See you in a bit. Josh is chilling here with me. I'm going to leave his comment up. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to leave this one up so everybody knows I'm putting up that like 5 minute. I'll be right back at the store. See you soon, everybody. All right, I have hot water refilled, a little bit too much, so I'm going to pour some out. Just got water all over the desk. Clean up the mess I made. Got a Media Luna. Notebook got wet. get that dried off. Push all the water I just spilled on the floor. Can deal with it later. We're in the middle of shipping. Water on the floor. Napkin would be nice, but I don't want to get up. Just use the shirt. Boop. One more. Boop. We got a dry countertop. Yashi is the GOAT today. He's been stepping up, giving me some handles to throw in, giving me some feedback, even giving me a little bit like cool, see you in a bit. I really appreciate having someone else here with me while I'm doing these live streams. They keep me guided and they help me know that I'm not just talking into an abyss. So we're now going to implement some new designs. I've been working with these so far, which is okay, but not super intentional. We have Figma designs. And so we're going to use these Figma designs now. Let's keep moving. Get checkout main. Get pull origin main. Now that I'm on main, let's check out our branch for the Figma designs. Get checkout -B, put in the branch. I hate front-end code, so this is the task that I've been dreading. Luckily, I don't need to do any of the code writing, so I just say, please prepare your scratch pad for a new task. Paste in the task name. Paste in the actual and required. Let's get it a clean image of the pop-up. Let's copy image to clipboard. Paste it in here. I've attached the Figma design. Let's see what it does. Are we still running our server? Oh, Yashi's telling us more of what they're building. I'm here for you, bro. Just finished my next 14 chat app. I feel you. Let's ship. Yashi is also shipping code. Those who ship, we ship together. It's awesome that this is a place for other builders to be coming in while they're building and just kind of chill. It's cool to see like the diversity of people that tune in. I have some people that are musicians and have no tech background who tune in. And then I have people like Yashi who come in and they're like, I'm shipping AI stuff, and they're also doing AI stuff. Okay, so we want to redesign the verify step UI, update the verify step to match the new Figma. Current status using legacy, it's not aligned with the updated visual guidelines. Required change, implement the new design for Figma. Update all the UI components, ensure modern and cohesive user experience. Key design elements, clean modern card layout, social media platform icons, input fields with validation, progress indicator, next button with arrow icon. Heading, are these correct? It's going to do some investigation. It's going to review the current step components, identify the components that need updating, verify socials components. Social, it already knows some of the components it's going to need. Then it'll plan, then it'll implement, then it'll test. It's checking, it's doing its analysis of the code base. I can just eat. This is my favorite relationship with the code I've had in all of my career as a coder. I just yap and eat and say yes or no. It's like I'm a ruthless dictator for this AI that's just sitting on my, but I do say please and thank you. So maybe that makes it better. But my job is changing so much. Is it easier? I don't know that I'd call it easier, because in the time that I was spending coding, I'm doing a bunch of other things now. But I do spend less cycles actually writing code, which I think is net benefit from me, as well as for my teams, as well as for Yashi and all the people that are here tuned in the comments who aren't using, or maybe they are. I'm curious to know, Yashi, have you learned anything about how I use cursor rules? Like, has your experience seeing me, what would you say is the difference from how I am coding versus how you've been coding in your practice? Something that I would love to know is like, how are people who use cursor, how is their practice different from my practice? Are we seeing diverging practices that are incredibly different between coder to coder? Or are we seeing kind of a merging of distinct coding practices all falling into the same practice? Defining a new card, love that. What are we doing now? Verifying socials, main container, input handle, social platform input, main features. We've done the investigation. It's now planning and implementing, I think. I think it's doing both of them at the same time. This is a new component. Yeah, there's a brand new component, social handle input. It seems like it is no longer using the social handle input that we had before, but it does still have our remove button. Love that. Now we're creating a social handle list, which is another new component. This includes an iterating over those handles, and then the next button. It's saying continue there, even though we're expecting next. We don't need the progress indicators. I'll let it write it out, but I'm likely going to delete it later because we don't need it for now. But it's doing more than I was expecting it to do. I use it I'm a heavy GPT user. I use it exactly like you're using Copilot. Earlier, I asked Yashi how they use Cursor and are they using it the same or different? And it looks like they use GPT. I'm using Cursor. I'm sorry, I'm using Claude 3.5, and it sounds like Yashi uses OpenAI's models. And then it sounds like they use it the exact same that I do. So they use GPT in the same way I'm using Copilot, just slight differences, but overall the same. Now we've got our verifying socials. This is an existing component. And where we've changed it to now use our progress indicator, verify card, much cleaner layout in my opinion. Cursor rules is going to get updated. Cannot resolve React icons FA. Let's see if we can get this into Composer. Can you use Lucid? What's it called? I think it's just Lucid. Lucid. Can you use Lucid React for icons instead of React icons? Got an error that it's not able to find the social icons we're trying to import. There were two options. I could either install the package that it suggested, more bloat, or I tell it, we already have a package installed, use the icons that we already use. Lucid has similar social media icons, so we can just do that. Keeps our packages small, prevents duplicating packages. Speaking of next meeting, let me verify when my next meeting is. Oh, we got more messages from Yashi. I do like to try to code without AI as much as possible for memory retention, but we are entering an era of complexity that requires reliance on AI for production speed. It's an interesting take. I am free until 3:45. Okay, Google, set an alarm for 3:33 p.m. Let's get an angel number break. So. Okay, Google, set an alarm for 3:33 p.m. Okay, so I'm good to code until 3:33. How are we doing on the implementation? We're now using Lucid React. Before we were using the Spotify icon. Instagram is deprecated. Let's accept and then tell it that some of these aren't correct. We'll start with Twitter. Did it change anything else? I'm just seeing that it's still offering me to accept, and I don't understand why. Yes, use Twitter icon and then probably also Instagram icon. Get more info from Yashi that we should be able to just use Lucid React icons. I agree. Okay, it looks like we finally got TikTok. Nope. Okay, I'm gonna stop it. It seems like it doesn't know which Lucid icons to use. So let me just go and find them. I'll open up a new tab for Lucid React icons. I'm gonna stop the comments just so that people can see everything I'm doing. First link should show me the icons. Let's look up. Do you have Twitter? It's Twitter. I think I have a Lucid icon. Let's see how I'm using Lucid icon. Lucid with an E icon. Looks like we're using it inside of segments. Use similar to segments. Please update with correct icons. No more complaints. Looking good. Let's see if the UI is loading now. Okay. Let's try running a new analysis. It is super hot here in Buenos Aires. I was cold 3 minutes ago and I turned off the AC. And now it is burning up again. Come on, come on. Ooh, this does not look the same. We don't want those progress dots, so I'm going to delete those. Let's check how this compares. Okay, yeah, it's not, there's definitely differences. Can I attach both images or can I only attach one? Let's paste the Figma. Let's see if we can also can I add it? Okay, we got 2 images in here. I've added 2 images. First, Figma. Second is current implementation. Feedback. All right, let's look at both of these side by side and try to tell it what the differences are. Get rid of this, it's confusing. You can approve or edit Recoup's progress every step of the way. Missing title. You can approve or edit Recoup's progress. Recoup's progress every step of the way. Make sure that we get an end quote in there. No period though. So we're missing the title. I think we're also missing the Recoup logo. There's extra verifying text. Please remove. What else we got? We're missing the Recoup logo. Missing logo image from top to bottom of pop-up. Just letting them know that I'm going at the top and then I'm working my way down. We're missing the logo. Are these correct? Missing, are these correct? Text. Icon is inside of the text box. Social platform label, that needs removed. The text label, remove. Yes, and then the icons are inside of the text box, but it should be on the outside. Icons inside box with text input should be to the left outside of the input border. What else? The images are not the button text should be next. We've got the arrow. Button size is too big. And if we do those, I think we'll be in a better place. The icons are totally different. We can clean those up later. We can clean up the correct icons later. Let's see if it can fix anything from those pieces of feedback. Interesting. So there were legal considerations, Yashi says, that caused Lucid to remove a lot of their brand icons. So in that case, I might need to go into our Figma, download the images that we're using and include them. I actually think we might already have some of those icons in here, so we might just need to reference those existing ones. Let's approve. Okay. Let's just delete this. And this is probably talking about the apostrophe. Yeah, once and apos like that. Let's try that. There we go. We've updated the verify card. Let's check handle input. It's blind accept whatever it's suggesting. And then step 3, let's update the social handle list. Modifying styles, any functionality changing? Looks like only styles are changing. Let's accept this and see how it looks now. Are these correct? It's looking better. This is looking way better. Let's find, are these correct? Are these correct? It's right here. Where's our image coming from? It's just an icon. Let's close everything else and see if there's close others. Find logo. Let's see if there's any logos. Layout, we've got the logo there. Icon, logo small. Looks like we do have a logo component. I think I want to try this logo component. Let's see what happens if I just switch that out for logo. Text just got bigger. That looks perfect. That's not the image I'm looking for. Do we have the specific image I'm looking for is the question. Let's go into the public folder. So many things. Public, brand, nope. Logo, nope. Recoup, nope. We do have TikTok and Twitter right there. I'm not seeing the logo that we're looking for. So let's add in a couple images. Reveal in Finder. Let's head into Figma and get some of those images that we need so we can really get this loaded with the correct content. Should have linked directly to it in the Figma. Open up Figma. We should have Finder open. Where'd Finder go? Going to shut down this comment just so that people can see the screen. Okay. Whoops, clicked it too many times. Whoa, this changed drastically. I do not like the new look at all. But it seems like we've removed the Recoup logo, so I won't struggle to try to get that. Let's go to the verify card and remove this logo. Should now just say, are these correct? Are these handles correct? Are these handles correct instead of are these correct? Are these handles correct? And now we need a trash can icon to the right of each of these. And we want to remove those progress dots. I don't care about them. Improving new feedback. Remove progress dots and delete the component. We should probably commit the changes we've made so far just to make sure that we don't go backwards, because I'm happy with the direction that we're in. So let's copy all the feedback. C. We'll go over here. Let's just add it all. Commit it. Make sure we're on the right branch. Yep. Commit. We already know the push isn't going to work, so I'm going to come over here and we just say get checkout. Nope, we say get push. Copy the branch name, paste the branch name, execute it. Get push origin, then the branch name. We got to push it to the correct remote branch. Okay, publish the new branch. Where are we at? It's compared to the new designs, I guess, instead of the legacy ones. You can approve or edit Recoup's progress every step of the way. Looks perfect. First line looks perfect. Are these handles correct? Looks a little more bold than what we see over there, but that should be fine. We've got icons which we don't show in, so we want to remove those progress dots, absolutely. The icons I will fix myself. Trash can icon, I do think we want that. And we're missing a PFP, but we'll be adding that in a future pull request. So I think really we just want to move the next button to the right side. Is there anything else we want to do here? Add the X button, move the next to the right side. So let's remove the progress dots, next button position, move to the right side of the container, and then delete button, add a trash can emoji with the same delete functionality you implemented earlier. I don't know if it remembers that it implemented it earlier, but I'm going to give it those three pieces. Remove the progress dots, move the next button to the right, and then add a delete button. If we do those three things, are we where we want to be? We've got the title. I love the little shaded background for the drop, the shadow. The icons I'll clean up myself. The PFP we're missing, but we'll do that in a future pull request. We're missing the trash can button, next button position, and the dots. I think we're good. Let's send this. We're getting close to these design updates. Is it going to work with the functionality? That's a great question. I have not tested the functionality. Hopefully it has not touched the functionality, but we'll find out. Delete. That sounds great. We've got roughly 1 hour left in my stream for today. Get rid of the progress indicator. We're also getting rid of use artist profile, selected artist. Sounds perfect because we're no longer using that text. And now we're going to update the social handle list to move the button to the right, justify end for the button. Looks great. Let's see if that fixed it. No longer see the three dots. Those have disappeared. Next button is now moved to the right. I'm thinking we're looking good. I'm going to commit these changes at least. And then we just need a trash can emoji for the delete button. Interesting. So it looks like it had the X, but we didn't see it. Ah, it was only showing up on hover. Look at that. Wow. If I click the trash can, will it I do want to test it. Let me go back to where's the trash? So it added the trash can as an actual trash can emoji. Let's see if we can use lucide. I'm realizing I might not be saying the term right. Is it lucid or lucide? Now let's look up trash. It's probably going to delete my text when it actually loads. Trash. I think we want trash 2. It's got the vertical lines on it. Yeah, we want trash 2. For trash icon, use trash 2 from Lucid icons. Use the shared component. 2, always visible, never hidden. 3, red color. 4, grow on hover. Let's see if it can do that. We had some changes that I did not send from the last set of feedbacks, so let me copy the text that I had. Let's add all these changes. Paste the message, commit, go over to my Git tab, up once, push, make sure it implements or it pushes as expected. Okay, text red, hover scale, lucid trash, all looks awesome. Looks like we successfully pushed. Let's go back to over here. Now we see red trash can icons. Perfection. Seeing trash can icons. I'm seeing the top text, looks perfect. Second text, looks great. Then we've got a bunch of those inputs. The images are incorrect. I'll fix those momentarily. We've got trash cans on the right. I don't know if they work. We've got a next button on the bottom. It's looking like we're moving in the right direction. Let me copy and let's make this a commit. Copy this, paste our commit message, click the plus button, add the change, commit it. Let's push these changes. And then the last thing I want to do is add in the correct icons. So let's see if I can add in those. See if I can add in those images. Public. Update the social icons with existing images. Let's say we've got Twitter. That doesn't look right. That's not right. Let me see if we already find Twitter. Do we already have a Twitter icon somewhere in here? Funnel name, funnel card, inputs. I swear. Inputs. Funnel card. What's in these funnel cards? Background image. And then we've got an icon running whatever the icon prop is. I'm not even seeing an icon prop being passed. Only if icons passed in. And I've seen it for some of them. Wrapped, TikTok, Twitter. Okay, so for Instagram and TikTok, dang it. Instagram and Spotify, we've got an image. Instagram, we're using icon white Instagram. And for Spotify, we're using white Spotify. So let's update both of those. Spotify. I said images, but it's actually just different icon types. We do want it to use the Lucid icons. Update the Lucid icons for continue and revert. That's still not going to give us TikTok and X. So no matter what, we will need, well, actually, I was looking for Twitter, but do we have X? And what about, what was the other one? Is custom icon name what? I don't like this. I don't like whatever it's doing. Let's reject. This should just be white Spotify. And this should just be white Instagram. Is that what I wanted? Let's go back to my wrapped. We're currently focused on getting images. This is a low priority task. I like the spinner. Check the render method of Lucid icon. Name is trash2. I guess let's roll these back. Does that fix it? Back to agents. Lucid. Okay, it's Lucid. Thank you, Joshi. Lucid. Okay. Going over to our agents. Waiting for images to load. Okay, are we still getting that error? No more error. I'm not seeing the, let's go back to where we saw white Spotify. Funnel card takes an icon of white dash Spotify. Icon. If icon, which there is, we go icon, name, icon. Okay. An icon comes from icon. Let's go to social handle input. We're using icons instead of lucid icons. So let's get rid of this icon. Now we've imported this new icon. As icons type. Okay, and now we want white Spotify, white Instagram. No, give me my page back. And then what are we doing for TikTok? I don't think we have an image for TikTok right now. So how are these working inside of icon? It's an icon SVG, which is coming from, icons are coming from Resolver. We've got segments, we've got white Instagram, white Spotify, black star, star Excel, star PDF, Word, image, exit, logo black, logo extra small, robot, mic, a book, a plus. I'm not seeing anything for TikTok. Let's use a black star for the ones I don't know about so that we can get at least successful icons showing up. Back to the Agents tab. I've not saved my changes. Let's save my changes. Try wrapped again. I've been streaming for 3 hours. I think this is the longest stream I've ever done. I see stars, and now instead of white, we actually want black. So I can't see what those are. I'm spending a lot of time trying to get icons, which we don't even see in the new design. So I'm actually going to just do what I'm spending too much time on icons. Could you please replace the icons with text labels for each social platform? Streaming is way harder than it looks. Joshi, you are making me very happy during this call. It's nice having another coder who understands and who's there to support. So thank you for giving me a lot of support during this call. You came in at 1:46. The current time is 2:49. You've been here for over an hour. Even when I had to leave, you stayed. So whatever's drawing you here, I love that you're here and I really appreciate it. You have been supporting me a lot and giving me a lot of energy to continue moving. Let's see if that fixes this. Social handle input is being called in social handle list. Key value platform, that all looks good. How are we looking over here now? Now we just see the name, we see the handle, we see a delete button. I think we're as close as we're gonna get to these designs. The top looks good. Second line of text looks good. Then we've got Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Sid's got them all right aligned. I currently have them left aligned. I prefer left aligned than right aligned, so I'm going to keep it how I've implemented it. Sid is showing ats inside of the box. I'd prefer to not have these ats at all. The right side, we see trash cans. We're missing the PFPs. Those will come in a future pull request. And then the next button. The designs look good. Now my question is, does it work? Let's click next. It looks like it is then running. So this is working. I want the next button to disable and show as a spinner on click. The next, well, first let me commit my changes. Copy this, go over to Git, add my changes, paste the message, commit, change to Git tab, up once, push. The next button on click should disable the button, show a spinner, prevent multiple clicks. On click, disable the button, show a spinner. Let's see if we can do that. We're going to throw up Joshy's little winky emoji. Keep that up for a while so that Joshy can continue to get exposure, but it doesn't take up the entire bottom bar so that people can see what I'm doing here in the terminal. I'm going to keep this here for a while. Everybody can know that Joshy and I are here jamming together. And this component is 70 lines, so we're still under our 100 limit, but let's see what changes here. We've now added more code, and now we're up to 97, just under my limit. I'm going to tell it, this component's getting long. Please follow single response. This component is getting long. Please create subcomponents/hooks/libs to follow single responsibility principle. I like short files. Longer files make it hard for me to read. I'm very small brain. I can't sustain my attention for a long time. So if we can keep files small, it makes it easier for me to read, which allows us to move faster. Let's commit all these changes. Command A, not going to let me. Let's add the change, paste the message, click commit, go down to my Git tab, hit up and send the push command. Now we scroll down and see where it's at. Looks like we are now creating use handle manager. Okay. Created a new hook. I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of code that needs cleaned up as well, because we had just implemented a bunch of these components and now we've created these new ones. Let's create a component for the continue. It's a next button. Why are you calling it next or continue? Call it next button instead of continue button. This is not something I needed to stop it for. I don't know why I did, but those are one of those little moments where my emotions spiked up and said there's a right way to do this, and I had to tell it instead of being able to observe, I'm feeling a certain way, let's recognize this and let it keep going. Sometimes it is often best for me to extend the distance, the amount of time between I feel an emotion and I act on that emotion. If I feel the emotion and immediately act on it, I often after thinking for a few seconds, realized I could have probably let it go, but now we've got a continue button and a next button. We've got them both. I don't like that we have them both. Let's delete that continue button. Get out of here. I like the next button though. We'll keep that. And now handle list should be a much smaller component because everything has been moved into other components. We were at 97 lines. Now we're down to 48 lines. This component becomes much simpler. It's not doing any logic in line. We're just rendering multiple components. I've already deleted that, so it's going to say that it can't find it. Let's make sure it's not doing anything else. Let's copy the message. Command A, it's not copying right. Copy this. Come all the way down. Is it doing anything else? Review changes. Nope. Come into my Git management, paste in the commit message, hit up once, and then send it so that we push our changes. I think that's it. I think we're now ready to at least start the review process. So let me go over to GitHub and let's open up a pull request. All right, let's go to the main part of the repo. We're getting into design stuff now, making it look prettier, cleaning up the dog poop. Create the pull request, copy the branch or the pull request name. I think Jad's blocked because he hasn't been shipping anything, so he's probably waiting for me to send him something. As a manager, I've been having to find a balance. I've been working on finding a balance between me shipping code and unblocking Jad and help Jad find his footing. Right now, I've been just shipping today, and I've been trying to focus on shipping first and then answering questions later. Because if I don't ship early, I end up prioritizing it later on in the day when my mental energy and capacity to think has depleted. And so while I understand it might be slowing Jad down, these tickets are very important. And so I think I'm making the right call by shipping in my morning and then taking my meetings after I've had my focus time to be able to focus on my own tasks. Now that I've posted the link, I'm going to go in and actually start testing. We're going to ignore if the only error is from evals. I'm hoping our deployment to Vercel is going correctly. It looks like all of our Vercel builds are successful. One's still in progress, so we'll view that one. Close some of these extra tabs. I don't think we need Lucid anymore. Open up the tab, log in, share the link in Slack. Step 1, open up the tab. Step 2, sign in. Before I sign in, I'm going to send the link. Test here. We've done step 1, open the link. Step 3, send the link. Step 2, log in is what I'm doing right now. We see the login, we log in. Find my code. Come on, Gmail, not you too. Oh, we got a big message from Yashi. You're a cool dude. I'll sub so I can be there for future streams. I'm loving your workflow. Yashi's replying from YouTube. I'm just making the connection that Yashi's watching on YouTube. Typically in my streams, everybody is coming from Twitter and nobody's messaging me on YouTube. I think this is the first time I've had someone tuning in on YouTube who's listening. So thank you for subscribing, Yashi. Sounds like he's going to be coming in to the future workflows. One thing I know about you, you code live, and that's savage. This is rad. I do code live. It's a pattern that I've been doing for probably 3 or 4 weeks now. It's relatively new in my practice, but I am liking it a lot. running into people like you is affirmation that this is something I appreciate and is amplifying my practice. So if you're tuning out now, Yashi, thank you for coming in today. I got a lot of value out of you tuning in. So thank you. I hope you have a good rest of your day if you are leaving. And if you're tuning in, I'm looking forward to whatever you send next. You have not sent anything that I have not put up yet. Everything that you have commented on the stream has been a banger. So I'll continue to do that. I'll leave it up for another probably minute, and then I'll close it so that people can see my ugly mug, because I'm blocking it right now with the text. Okay, we log in. Now let's see if we can run a report. Let's go to agents. Are we done with all of our deploys now? Looks like all of our deploys have finished. So I can try my new wrapped funnel. Let's see how it looks with Elon's info. Elon Musk's Spotify handle. Great work, AI. Let's delete that. Nice. Okay, so the delete button works. And now we should be able to scrape with those three. It looks like TikTok, that's a new handle. So we should get TikTok added up in here. TikTok failed, which makes sense. Elon, I was doubtful if he had a TikTok. I forgot to get an image, a screenshot of this. So let's switch over to Karma Violetta. And now let's go back to agents. Refresh the page to make sure that I'm using the right artist. And now we'll go over here. I have not checked this on mobile yet, so let me change this over to mobile. No. Remove, click the plus button, upload from my computer, desktop, right there, loading, Tavily, results, here's Tavily results. What else did I want to check here? Oh yeah, mobile. Mobile, how we looking? Looks good on mobile too. Whoa, messed up something on the live. It thinks I'm trying to upload an image for some reason. Let's see if I can still grab my image from over here, and then I'll figure out why the screen is showing weird for me on mobile. I'm not dragging and dropping anything. Chat, why? How do I get back to? There we go. I think I got it back. Let's go back to picture in picture. Okay, I think we're fixed. Okay, I've shared my screenshots. I think we're good to ship. Let me make sure. The only thing I'm curious about in the code is, did we delete all the files we're no longer using? I'm not seeing any deleted code, only new files. Did you delete the legacy components for the verify step? If no, please clean up legacy code which is no longer being used as a result of your new components. Let's see if it's able to figure that out. I still need it to clean up its scratch pad and cursor rules. I don't think we need to keep anything in the scratch pad today, or for this pull request. Next button is a next button, looks good. Social handle input, looks pretty. Social handle list is a list. This code's looking clean. It's short. It follows good coding practices. It's not excessively long. I like this better. I like our new changes. Looks like input handles is an example of something that should be deleted now. There it is, input handle. Get rid of input handle. Is there anything inside of input handle? Anything else? We deleted input handles, which it just got. There's a brand new component. I think we made a hook too. There were some hooks we were using previously. What about hooks? Excuse me. Yashi's chilling. Him and I are hanging. Can't leave now. Well, Yashi, you're one of 2 people watching on YouTube, so it might look like there's not much. Over on Twitter is where we get normally most of the action. We've got 89 people tuned in over on Twitter, 3 people tuned in on YouTube. Yashi has been the seed that is showing me there's actual people watching on YouTube, which is crazy. Fan segment result. Social handle list is actually going to be, instead of input handles. Okay, so fan segment results is also changing. We'll want to make sure that that is working. It's going to delete that social platform input. Sounds good to me. Deleted 2 files. Any other files that you can delete to clean up some code? Cleaned up the legacy code. What about hooks? How are the hooks looking? Where are you grepping? Components in the hooks folder. Use handle lookup and use agents. That was what I was hoping it would find. Are all those still being used? Use agents is still being used, but contains some handle management logic that we've moved to use handle manager. Use handle lookup. This is used, but might need to be updated to work with our new handle management system. That sounds great. Can you consider how to combine use handle lookup with use handle manager? Hook duplication. Here's what we should do. Keep the use agent hooks as it serves as the main agent management. Keep use handle lookup as it handles the API integration. Keep use agent runner. Our new handles the UI state management. No cleanup is needed. They're already well organized and following the single responsibility principle. Okay, if you think they're all good, I will trust you, AI. Copy the step change, paste the step change, commit the step change, push the step change. It's not really using its scratch pad. Please clean up your scratch pad to, well, I'll do that when we actually finish. I don't want to do what I did last time, which is tell it to update its scratch pad. I find a bug that needs to get fixed, and then I have to undo that. So measure twice, cut once. We only want to tell it to go back once. Don't repeat steps. How are we doing on net? It's not giving me net numbers right now. There it is. We are doubling the amount of code that we are deleting. Not always the best, but new features, that happens. Fan segment results. I'll need to verify that the segments are still showing up correctly. I actually don't know what this is doing. I'll make sure to test it. Deleted that component, perfect. Deleted that component, perfect. This was updated. I'm not sure if we want this to be updated like that. Let's check how our deploy is going. Okay, we've got roughly 20 minutes left. How are we doing on our overall tasks? We're working on the new designs. That's in review. I want to do those verifies so we can show profile pictures besides the profile so that we can verify that, hey, we actually identified the correct profile. Instead of right now where you're just like, I think it's got it, but does it actually know what profile I'm talking about? We want to give more of that social proof. I don't know if we're going to have time to get these done. If I could do one, I would prefer to do Spotify because that's causing more errors because Spotify doesn't have clean handles like other social platforms do. Artists are assigned a random number letter pairing. So I'd prefer to do, I think our orders of priority is correct right now. It matches the execution path that allows us to gain the most momentum by laying out tasks such that we accomplish the one thing such that by doing it, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. If we can get that Spotify dropdown working, that cleans up a lot of the bugs that people are seeing when they're trying to run these funnels. My neck's hurting. I did a posture in my Ashtanga practice this morning that put a lot of pressure on my neck. I believe I did the posture incorrectly, which is why my neck is hurting now. So tomorrow in my practice, I will avoid, if I still feel this way, I will avoid doing postures that put weight on my neck to try to get back to recovering. Changes are ready. Let's try running a funnel from top to bottom. Go back home. We'll run Karma Violetta. Karma's already selected. What handles do they already have loaded? Just so that looks like we've already got TikTok, Instagram, and X. We don't have a Spotify link. Let's go to agents. Start the wrap. I'm liking it. Karma. Next. Let's look them up in Supabase. The main thing I'm curious about is the end step showing the correct segments. Let's go to Supabase, filter by Karma Violetta. I'm seeing more than 3 in here, so this is following that same error I was talking about earlier. It's already documented. Let me add this. Example account ID, Karma Violetta. How we doing on? Okay, we finished Instagram. We're still looking at Twitter and TikTok. I still only see 3 URLs in here. I do not see one for Spotify. Spotify is throwing us off. We already knew that. It's why the next task I want to focus on is properly linking the Spotify. We're at 99 people who have tuned into this live stream. If you're not tuned in, but you're watching the captions, click on the box so that you can be person 100 to cross this into 3 decimals. This is one of the lower tune-ins that I've been getting to the streams. Usually we get to like 500 to 1,000 live. I'm seeing it. It looks great here. I'm happy. I'm going to ship this. I'm not seeing anything that I'm going to break. We should have cleaned up our cursor rules, but I probably didn't tell it to do that. Or I'm looking at a different pull request. I think we're good. Please clean up your scratch pad to prepare for a new task. Can we get one more? We're about to ship. We've got like 15 minutes left. And I've already given myself a buffer period on that 333 to prepare me for my next meeting. So I think we can still try doing that Spotify dropdown. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to try implementing a Spotify dropdown. It might require opening up a new pull request. So overall positioning mentally, this is most likely the last pull request I'm going to get out during this live stream is what I'm shipping right now. I'm going to start to work on this next task of a dropdown for the Spotify handles that we're matching. I have a feeling I don't have enough information or a clear enough path to get it implemented. So what I'm hoping to do with this next little bit of work is to plant the seeds in my head so that the proper implementation can percolate and the challenge, the problem set can percolate in my mind so that after my meetings, I can come back with a new, there we go. This is a clean scratch pad. This looks great. Thank you. So that I can come back and continue implementing the work that I'm doing now. Get status, get add, get commit, -m, whoops, -m, clean up scratch pad. Let's try to push it. That should be the last thing that we need to do. Joshi is hyping me up. Joshi is really making me feel like I'm doing well right now. Joshi, I see you are new around here. My name is Sweetman. I'm the dev for On-Chain Music. I live stream my coding Monday to Friday, at least an hour. If I have a coder or a musician that wants to pair program, I'll have at least one person in here. And if I don't have someone set up, it's just me here yapping and building on my own. And so when you coming in here like this is really like, wow, sometimes I feel like I'm oversharing and everybody knows and people get annoyed at how much I'm shipping or how much I'm live. And then people like you come in and I realize 99% of the internet still doesn't know that I exist. And we can keep shipping more content and do more live streams because the majority of the things that need to be said have already been said, but nobody's listening. So it's worth repeating. And so might as well just keep throwing stuff at the wall, keep shipping as much as we can, because most of the things that I'm shipping, nobody's going to know about. And even if you are seeing it a little bit, it's probably not actually stuck itself into an actionable way. And so if I say the same thing 4 or 5 times, after the 4th or 5th time, it might finally click. And so we just keep hitting the same principled lessons, go up to bat, put in the reps, keep practicing to just play this infinite game. Are there goals? There are absolutely goals. There are destinations we want to reach. Does that mean that I'm playing this game to win? No, I'm playing this game to keep playing. I like the teams that I'm building with. I'm appreciating my ability to build my ideas. I like the sovereignty that I have as an artist and as a developer. So I'm not looking to exit. I'm not looking to get out of here, go cash out and move to Puerto Rico to watch Bad Bunny perform his No Quiero Ir de Acá tour for his new album. I'm trying to just keep practicing. I want to extend the runway. I don't need to make $1 million. I just want to be able to continue to support this practice. It's a great practice I have. I'm feeling the impact, achieving the goals that I'm looking to achieve. And the community seems to be appreciating it as well through people like Joshi and the other musicians that are tuning in to these or directly showing up as guests. So Joshi, all of that yet to just say you are giving me affirmation that we are building on the right path. And I'm practicing sincerely, and that's my goal, is just to keep practicing sincerely. Joshy's given me all the little yap seeds, just planting a little word in the comments, which gives me like 5 minutes of yap. But if you weren't here for the yaps, you would have either told me to by now or you would have just left. And if you just left, I would have no idea that my yaps were the reason that you left. And at the end of the day, my goal is not to impress or to communicate to get someone to understand. This is just me focusing on my own craft, which is something I can control, and practice it sincerely. I can't control how people react. If you don't like how much I yap, I can't control that. And if I'm overthinking, am I yapping too much? Now I'm impacting my ability to create and be an intentional creator. So the best thing I can do is not to try to think, I need to do this in a way to help Joshi or to help some random person or to get them to like me. Those are things that I cannot control. So instead, I show up and I practice sincerely. If I hear that I'm yapping too much or I'm not yapping enough, I can hear those things, but we don't let them take over the practice. Because if we let our mind fill up with all the things that we can't control, we have no energy left to focus on a sincere practice. Like this, I'm yapping right now. What am I trying to do? What's my goal? We have just shipped. I think we're all good. I only changed the cursor rules, so let's ship this. How much time do I have left? I just I just used 8 minutes in yapping, waiting for a deploy that we really didn't need to wait for. And that's an example of me not necessarily being as focused on the end goal as possible. And as a result of not being focused, the wind blew me into a direction that was different from the horizon I had set my sights on. And that's why it's important for me to keep my eyes on the destination and to brutally maintain the attention on that destination, because what you focus on grows, what you think about expands, what you dwell upon determines your destiny. We have shipped. Let's go into our next pull request. So far on the stream, we have shipped 4 items. So far today, I've shipped 5, one of which I wrote last night. Next task. New designs are implemented. We're now on the Spotify one. I'm just going to raw give this to chat, git checkout main, git pull origin main, check out our new branch. Git checkout -b, paste in the branch name, git push origin branch name. Now we've got our new branch. Let's tell it to prepare its scratch pad. Prepare your scratch pad for a new task. Paste task name. Paste task description. Let's see what it says. Current implementation, no mechanism to verify Spotify search results, yada yada. Upon selection, display the profile picture of implement a dropdown. Yep. Yeah, I don't know if we can actually do this. Let's just send it raw so that it can start thinking and allow its research to inform my decision. What I want to do, what my brain wants to do, is start overthinking what other things do I need to tell it to prepare it. Let's act more small brain. Let's not pretend like we're a genius. Give it the task. Let it do all the thinking. Let it let it use that energy. And then I can just verify. It is typically simpler to verify the thinking occurred than it is to execute on that thinking. And so rather than me spending the cycles trying to think, going down and approaching a bunch of different paths, let it try. Let me verify what its thought process is and reflect on that. So current task, Spotify profile verification dropdown, add a Spotify search results verification to the verify step. There's no mechanism to verify the search results. Search results are not presented for manual verification. Matching process is ambiguous. Required changes, let's implement a dropdown. Let's allow manual selection. Let's display the profile picture of this selected artist for confirmation. First step investigation, it's going to review how it gets verified the Spotify handles. It'll then identify the integration points, perfect. And then it'll check the Spotify API requirements. I don't know if we're doing that here. And then it'll map out the structure. I'm just going to say continue, please. And I'm even going to give it a little smiley face. If Skynet takes over and the Terminators come out to attack anybody who acted impolitely, may they remember I said please and included a smiley face. I think we got some more from Joshi. Banger Tate, can you link me to your Twitter? Yeah, my Twitter, I'll open it up here just so you can see it. I don't know how I could actually link it, but if you go to twitter.com/Sweetman_ETH, I've also got it here on the live stream. So if you see the profile that I've tagged, that's my Twitter. because that's usually where the majority of my engagement comes from. And so I usually prioritize my Twitter. But if you go to x.com/Sweetman_ETH, you'll see me going live over there, and you'll see this live stream, and you'll be able to join me over there. Send me a DM if you do on Twitter. That way I can follow up with you. Yashi says, all good, keep yapping. You just seem like a normal dev. I yap a lot too. It's a normal dev thing to yap. Good to know. Last one, wise words, bro, very wise words. You don't have to worry about me. I'll chill here, stay focused on the flow. I'll shut up. I'm here for this. It's not you distracting me. It's me allowing myself to be distracted. Thank you for everything that you're doing, Yashi. Okay, based on my investigation, here's what I found. We need to set up the API integration. This is, as soon as it says we need to set it up, I'm thinking we need to actually create a new API endpoint in our backend API to do this. The current handle verification uses yada yada. Existing and verify. Let me update the scratchpad. Now we have a clear plan. It's now going to start implementing Spotify changes. Let's stop it there. Let's reflect on what it's done. The current path is telling me we need to actually update a different repo, the APIs. I'll show this. We've got 7 minutes left, so we're still doing okay on time. If we go to the Recoupable org, so far we've been building inside of the Recoupable chat, which is our front-end repo, which is hosted on Vercel, and it's a Next.js application. We originally bundled the APIs with the front-end code until we needed our APIs to run longer than a minute. And Vercel typically is for serverless functions and for small runtime functions. And so now we've got our APIs running on DigitalOcean, which allows us to have a more agentic, always running backend HTTP node server. And this is what I actually need to modify. And so because we still have a couple minutes, I'm going to take the same task and we're going to put it, let's just define it better. Verify Spotify dropdown. We need a prerequisite step to this of how does the Spotify API, do we want to do it on the front end? What are we sending back to the API to trigger a Spotify run? Where are we sending the Spotify handle to be used in scraping a new funnel? Let's see if it can understand what I'm trying to say there. While it's doing that, do I have my terminal open? Do I really not have a terminal open? I don't have a terminal open. Now I do. Make it bigger. CD into projects. Then once we're inside of projects, we'll go into Recoup, and then we'll go into Recoup agents APIs. Cursor./ to open that up. Now we've got 2 cursor browsers open. Okay, let me trace. We use handle lookup. Handles are then used in the runner, which makes the actual API call. Agent handles. Funnel type is actually not used anymore. So inside of here, handles is passed as handles. Okay, so we pass it to the back end. We pass a Spotify handle to the back end. Let me copy this. Go to chat over here. Let's create a new chat. How are Spotify handles handled in this when this endpoint is triggered? Seek first to understand. I want to see how it's being processed. The question is it using the URL that we're passing, or is it doing an additional search? Based on, let's stop this. I don't know if I did Command Enter to search the whole code base because I didn't see any. There we go. I wanted it to read files. This is what I was looking for. Let me explain. The call agent API function sends it to run. Run agent is right here. Where's Spotify? TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify. We then run the Spotify agent. We trim the handle. Let's see what Spotify, search the artist. This is the step I would like the results from. Search artist is currently happening in the backend API. And so the backend API is expecting to receive a normal artist name, and then we search for it on the backend. And after we search for it, I believe we just select the first result. We return the first result if we find it, which is not what we want. What we want to do is actually show the results and allow the end musician to select one. And so I'm thinking what we want to do, and let me start to write this out. P1 Spotify search artist migrate to front end. Let me see where else this is used. Is this only used in this point, or is it used somewhere else? It's only used inside of run Spotify agent. So if we move this to the front end, we'll be fine. Actual Spotify search happens in backend API. Required Spotify search happens on front end, so I can display a drop down of search results in front end. Let's get this ticket defined. Yeah, 2 minutes until my alarm goes off. You'll hear my Google alarm go off, and then I'll start to wrap up the talk. I'll wrap up the live stream. This isn't a talk. It's only degraded into a talk the more I've been coding, the more Yashi and I have been going back and forth. What you need, Kiki? You doing okay? What's up, baby? How are you? Yeah, you want some attention? You want to play? Come here, mama. Hi. Hi, baby. Paste the new ones. Actual is that the Spotify search for artists currently occurs in the backend API. This setup prevents the immediate display of search results on the front end, limiting users' ability to interact with the dynamic dropdown of options. Required, migrate the Spotify search for artists to execute on the front end. This change should enable the application to display. That sounds great. And then inside of the verify, we need to add a little step that says, upon next button click, pass the artist ID to the backend API as the Spotify handle instead of the, I mean, it's going to be the same. It's going to send back whatever is inside of the box, but instead of the artist search term. Let's keep it like that. I think this, so we've now got two different steps. The immediate next step is I need to migrate the code to the front end. My alarm just went off, so I got to start wrapping up. Stop. So the first step will migrate the code. Let me copy that file so that we already know what we need to do. The search artist function. Let's put that in here. Reference code in backend API. So in this one, we will, do we just add it to the front end? And then I think we just add it to the front end here. Add to front end. So we'll have three steps. First, we'll add it to the front end. Then we'll remove it from the back end. No, first remove it from the back end. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. We've just hit our time, so I think it's a good time to wrap up. Joshi especially, thank you for tuning in. To everybody that tuned in this live stream, if you got any value out of this or you're still tuned in, please like, subscribe, leave a comment on your favorite part of this video. Any button you click is going to help more people see us building in public, see how we're building with these new AI tools. And Joshi especially, thank you for tuning in and giving me all the support you gave.